polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny, I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. And my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny, I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. And my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny, I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. And my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass.
Let's get started so we can forget about our coronavirus nonsense for a few hours.
I don't need to forget about it.
I'm apparently Taliesin now, and yeah. That's what I've learned.
I don't need to forget about it. I feel fine. I am confident because my peers have decided that Joe Biden is the best person to lead us through this and all future issues. So clearly everything's fine.
I thought I was gonna have to start with this, but I'm gonna have to start with this.
I can't wait for him to walk up on stage and go, I don't know where I am right now.
No, I need
And
to.
that's normal for...
You're waiting for that to happen? Like,
No,
are you not paying attention?
I want him. I want him to actively
Jack,
go on stage.
Hey, Jack,
what's in that bottle?
Jack, hey, fat. Let's do some push-ups. We'll go outside.
I'm gonna bust you in the mouth.
Baileys.
Oh, Baileys. Okay.
Right,
For a second, I thought it was wine, and I was like, nah.
Have you ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
All right, let's get started.
I don't think so. No.
Damn it! Nobody knows old Greg. What?
No, I know old Greg.
Okay, thank you.
So
I have no clue.
You're not that young.
all right, cats.
Sorry.
Like,
Now it's buttholes.
So last week, you guys had picked up after you had just defeated Galadon, the winged storm, the blue dragon in his lair, and you all decided that it would be best to revive Strat's Stone Song, the bard who is being held captive by the dragon whom Shango mercilessly murdered.
Self-defense.
And after reviving him and questioning him a bit as to why he was the slave of this dragon and how it was his fault that he was trying to survive while being held captive of this dragon. You all also began to start looting the treasure and harvesting parts of the dragon. As you did this, there were some members of your party that were very nervous about spending too much time doing this, and other members that were a little bit more lackadaisical about just going at all this treasure and getting as much as you could. After some time went by, um, magically through means of some form of teleportation, several of the hobgoblins from the ruins of Onua had apparently been alerted in some form or fashion. You were unaware that something was amiss in Galadon's lair. So when they teleported in and saw you and the body of Galadon, there was a look of shock and surprise on their face as you guys they began to try and kill you.
Like you do.
Like you do if you're
Typical.
hobgoblins in service of the Iron Authority. And these people just killed the dragon that your emperor was aligned to. Through harrowing means and a clutch
Word of recall.
word of recall. Thank you, spell. That's the words I was looking for. You were all able to escape back to Tharn's Riverside Shrine and Sanctum, where you were able to take a breath, take a bit of a rest, talk to Stratz some more, where he explained to you some of the conversations that he had overheard between Kovrak and this orc mage and Galadon about their arrangement that they had with the Emperor of the Iron Authority, the Hobgoblin Empire in the southern parts of Taldore. You then teleported back to Aman through the use of Bureau's teleportation circle, arriving in the keep and informing Seeker Assume that you had returned and that you had successfully slain the dragon. And so he came to hear the news and counsel. You guys all took counsel together as you explained to him everything you found, introduced him to Stratz, who shared the information that he had shared with you with the Seeker. The Seeker being a bit disconcerted about some of the information that he heard, and told you that he would be appreciative if you would meet with him and the rest of the council tomorrow afternoon at the People's Palace in the Cloudtop district of Aman. He also requested that at that time there was going to be the decision by the rest of the council as to who should replace Arbiter Brom Goldhand for the Master of Law position that had been vacated by his timely demise. Between the two remaining candidates, as one of them was apparently a imposter, and between Silgri Saltearth, the half orc female half-orc that you had been not introduced to, but you had seen at the Arbiter at Brom Goldhand's funeral, and Kellen Cobblehob, a male rock gnome, who he asked you to gather what information you could on them and give him a recommendation as to which way you think the council should go as far as their decision in who they should choose for this position, as it appears that your actions have garnered your opinion has now gained some weight amongst the council based on your actions
That's
on
terrifying.
behalf of Amon.
Who was the other one? Not Kellyan.
Not
Who's the other one?
Kellen, Silgray.
Kellen.
Silgray Salt Earth.
Okay.
And lastly, as the day kind of was letting out and you all left to after kind of like handing out some of the loot and the treasure, you all kind of went off to do your own things, kind of seeing to some small business in and about the city. And Bureau found himself to the Temple of the Arkheart to practice his lute, where he received a message from Terra Thunderbrand, telling him that she has finally been able to bypass the wards of the hobgoblins and has been successfully able to scry on their lost companion. And that is where we shall pick back up.
I hurry back to the keep.
All right. Fike, no, not Fike. Biro, you hurry back to the keep. I believe the rest of the party was out doing their own things. Shango, you had gone where?
Yeah, Fike and I both went into the city.
Yes.
Yeah,
As did
and
Renata.
Fike went to go perform.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I'm in the
I would
city as
first
well.
growing trees, right?
Yeah, growing
Yeah.
trees in the park.
In the park.
I'm just ruining sidewalks and streets and buildings and stuff with trees.
The middle of Central Park just got 20,000 more trees.
Indeed. So, was there something specific? I know, Renata, you were going to the Temple of the Wild Mother just to kind of be there, right? And
Or at least just kind of, she was just kind of going with Fike and Django at first, and then might break off later to checking on that, and basically also was trying to get like the first steps in needed for tomorrow's looking up the people we needed to look up. Get a better
so
sense
you're
of things.
going to the Temple of the Wild Mother to ask after the two candidates?
Potentially.
Okay.
But yeah, just kind of
All right.
sticking the group for first.
As it's pretty late in the day, when you guys get into the city, there's not a lot going on outside of nightlife. The temples are open and available, but outside of just basic, acolytes, there's no real like people of authority around. They've retired for the evening.
Okay.
But Shango, you were going to get materials so that you could resummon Zephyr, correct?
Correct. So I need incense and charcoal, and stuff.
Yes. Unfortunately, again, by the time you get into town, the shops for the most part have closed down for the evening. So as you head to Gilmore's to get your magical components, it is closed for the night.
All right.
So you'll have to return in the morning.
All right, then I'll stop by, see if the Lyceum is still open.
You would imagine that the Lyceum is also kind of in a similar situation, as it's like
Okay.
yeah, the city, like outside of like taverns and stuff, like the business of the day has like the sun's gone down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was drift like 24/7 library, come every time.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, no.
All right. Well,
trying to
rather
tell you.
disappointing this is. Pardon?
I was gonna say, like, it's late. The days at its end that nothing would be open, but
Well,
Yeah, what time
That's
is it?
fair.
It's
it's
like,
there's
and Knox, you had gone to your room to begin reading your book.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to know how many like hours I'd be getting because I'm not
Well, that
sleeping.
will depend on you're not sleeping, so you're gonna
Nope.
take a point of exhaustion.
Yep.
All right. Um. I'm sorry. What was the time is? By the time you guys, after talking with the seeker and everything, and doling out everything, by the time you guys left the keep, it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So by the time you got into the city proper, it was probably after. It was probably like around 8 o'clock. So like the sun has gone down. It's springtime, so the days are starting to grow a bit longer, but like the streets are lit by lantern light, and yeah, it's nighttime. Like the taverns are busy, but
Yeah.
other than that,
The day might be growing old, Fike, but the thirst for knowledge never sleeps. Yet sleep I shall do.
I wish I had your outlook on books.
On books.
Maybe I can teach.
Maybe. Are you doing all right?
I had better days.
Yes, I can see
Close to
that.
death I came twice. Twice.
But we all watch each other's back, right?
Indeed.
I scooped you up the second you fell, past all those fucking hobgoblins, and ran you into safety as fast as I could.
And my credit
Because
did you have for that?
yeah, I would follow you into the gates of the nine hells if I needed to, Shango. You know that, right?
Let's hope that shall not be the case, but
Hmm.
I do know, and you know that it is returned.
Right. Did you really think that that was necessary for what you did with Strats?
Yes, that's why I did it.
Do you think the guy that was in the middle of the centaur circle was also a necessary thing that needed to be done?
The middle of the... Ah, yes, hence why I did it. No other way I saw to save that poor sacrifice without compromising the risk of completion of the ritual.
Yeah, Shango, you know I adore you. I hope you know this. Um, but I think your judgment is flawed for those two events.
Please elaborate.
I don't think either one of those people needed to die. And I wish you didn't do the things that you did. Because we made a very, very, very fine line of what we will not do when we get on that ship. And I believe you crossed it.
No other options I saw at the time, and yet everyone seemed willing to go pillage innocent and come to blows if need be. If it would have not been for Piero's quick intervention with the captain Seacaster, to blows it would have come.
I also have ways around that. Just because he's the one that intervened does not mean he was the only solution. There was more than one solution to that. Even if we knocked him unconscious and then healed him, it still would have been the same result. I don't believe that you. I understand how you see it, but how I see it, you took two people's lives that didn't need to be taken.
Point that is taken. As I said, no other options I saw at the time.
I was standing in front of him, talking to him, and you brought a hailstorm of lightning down into someone. I was going, hey, knock it off. What if I did that to... And I just see Ren by his side, and I just point to Ren. Just as you were having a conversation with her, how would you feel?
Would she be threatening our lives
I don't
in this
know.
hypothetical situation?
Sure, why not? Let's play. I'll play your advocate. Absolutely.
And in a situation where the lives are threatened, I would see it as justified.
So, no offense, Ren, but when some of us were possessed by ghosts, your prerogative was to kill them if they're being a threat to us, even if they are ourselves. Correct?
Sorry, can you repeat that? You cut out for a second.
So the prerogative. So when we are possessed, like when you were possessed by that fucking illithid in the Underdark, were we to kill you
If no
if you were
other,
a threat?
if no other solution you would have seen, yes.
What if we didn't have a solution right now, but we could have one a little bit later? Is that still the prerogative?
The difficult situation that is. So, no solution pertains now, but you see a more suitable one arriving in the future than an alternate solution there is, even if it may not be at this point in time. So, after that solution, you would go.
Forgive me, but that sounded hypocritical.
Shango, I
And
know
you lie, Shango. I'm sorry, I know you aren't believing this now, but if you remember the ghosts, I saw you not strike me. I was aware. I could not do anything about it, but I was aware. So doth not say that you would do whatever you needed to in the moment.
Indeed. Tried to strike you, I did, yet capable of it, I was not in the moment. Perfect, I am not. That's not I'm trying to say. Yet, if no solutions present themselves, then I see no use in waiting for better days.
There's an old saying, especially in this town, is that when you look at every problem as a nail, you hit it with a hammer. Not every problem is a nail. Sometimes you need to hammer shirt or, cut down a wagon. You don't need to look at everything as the same solution, which is, for you, lightning bolts and thunderstorms and all kinds of shit like that. Not every problem can be addressed the same way by just hitting it until it stops. And I know I tried to put this in you guys, and you helped me understand that not all lives can be saved, but this is... No one deserves to die in chains, Shango. Come on.
To disagree, I like that my solution to everything is a lightning strike. It might prove a solution to many things, yes. Yet like to think I do. It's not the only there is to offer.
I'm sorry. We are not trying to.
Hey.
We are
You're
like looking to
Yes.
fight. We are worried about you. About how quickly you have come to. Well, this
So-
hath become a pattern now. I suppose. And that is concerning. I shall admit.
concerning that is indeed.
I thought
Hey,
among all of us,
You're-
I knew you the best, and I am worried that that is no longer the case.
hard it must be to know me, considering not sure I am if I know myself.
You could fuck right off with that.
At this moment, all 6 of you hear a voice in your head. Very similar to when Bureau has messaged you in the past, except it is not Bureau's voice. You recognize it as the voice of Patrick, the hobgoblin wizard that was on Gator's ship.
Oh,
And-
Vendrak?
What's the message?
And,
Sorry?
Nothing. Sorry.
Was
Vandrick,
it, was
sorry.
it Vendrak? Yeah.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
And it says, I knew that you all were meddlesome from the moment I saw you. Now you are on my radar. I will be keeping an eye on you, and should you meddle in our plans again, we will not hesitate to kill you.
Is that the end of the message?
Yep.
Can we respond to the message?
You're
It's all
if
at once.
it's like if it's like well, you don't know. Well,
I
Nox,
assume some
you
of
don't
us might
that
know if we're
anyone
together.
else- Yeah, for those of you who are with another bird, like Tharn gets the message and he's by himself, so he doesn't.
I'm
know
growing trees. Leave me alone.
Nox is by himself when he gets the message, so he doesn't know. But
Fuck you!
and Bureau, you're by yourself as you're on your way back to the keep when you get the message. The 3 of you, Ren, Fike, and Shango, are all together. So like you're in the middle of this intense conversation, then you all suddenly stop, as if you've been like interrupted by someone. Though you don't hear a voice out loud, you all just hear it individually. So I mean, you're not sure if it's like the spell that Bureau does where you can respond or not, but I mean, you can certainly try to respond if you wish.
Oh, I most definitely respond.
Yeah.
No, especially like she's mostly like looking at other people to see if they heard that too.
Yeah.
But she has no intention of
Yeah.
responding to that.
Tharn, list the things that you're gonna do when you find him.
Yes.
Leave me alone. I'm currently growing trees. But if at some point you wish for me to murder you as I did your dragon friend, that can happen. There are many ways in which I can kill you, and I start listing them.
And luckily for him, the list stops fairly soon. As the message.
That's right.
You only get about 3 ways listed, Tharn, before the message cuts off.
Hold
I
on.
just-
Hold on.
Oh no.
He's just running it out. See how far he gets.
Just gonna keep casting message after him.
Yeah, no, I don't have sending prepared for today.
But tomorrow the list will continue.
Let's put a pin in this for now. We'll come back.
But anyway,
Thorn is the MVP. He's the real.
you all
MVP,
get
guys.
this message. We'll stick with the moment for the moment with Ren, Fike, and Shango as you guys get this message as you're walking through the streets of Amon, the night lantern lit streets of Amon.
If we were walking and talking, stopped immediately at that point, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Civil just like stopped, kind of looking off in the distance for the second or minute or so that the message comes through. Like, I presume to all of us this came.
Yep.
Well, we should have expected.
And
Indeed.
I guess the masks and the fake name didn't help. So, another one of my dumb ideas.
Well, messages like this typically are linked to the person you're in the mind of the sender, so still a hard time you might have to find us in person without the right name.
I shall not be surprised if we cross paths again either way.
Certainly.
We cut over to Bureau, who's also walking through the lantern-lit streets of Amman when he receives this.
I simply say, I enjoy fucking with your plans too much to stop now. You're welcome to try.
Not even in the Barbosa accent.
Mask off.
Queen playing I'm having a good time. I'm having a ball.
We cut over to Noxus, who's in his room and receives this message.
Oh shit. Oh, I got 2 words for you. Fuck you, buddy. Oh shit, that was 3. I'm gonna go back to reading. Fuck this. And he hears all of that.
Yeah. About 20 or so minutes later, Tharn, Bureau, Fike, Renata, and Shango, you guys all, but through the magic of storytelling, arrive back at Grey Skull Embassy at almost the same time.
I was going to get laid.
I figured you changed your plans after you got a message in your from in your head.
Don't
No, that
tell
just
him what his
accentuates his
are.
plans. Now I really need to get laid before I die.
First off, slay a dragon.
I apologize.
Second off, first off, slay a dragon. Second off, lay a dragon. That was on my list of shit to do.
Just changes who he's getting laid with.
I should not have assumed. I apologize.
Makes an ass of you.
If there is a blue dragon born in there, he's getting it tonight.
Mike leaves you, Ren and Shango, and Tharn, Bureau, Shango, and Renata all arrive back at Grey Skull Embassy.
Don't tell my character what it's going to do either.
Are you going to not sleep tonight and stay out?
He
all
sleeps in
night
the park.
at
That's what he does.
He sleeps outside.
Yeah.
Very well.
We remember that.
Trading these cats, bro.
Rocks fall, you all die.
Well, new campaign, y'all.
New character.
Drink.
72 rasps fall from the sky.
Word of recall.
That's how you deal with Tarasques, David.
There's secretly Vecna, who's broken through the divine gate, is in the corner and counterspells your word of recall.
Wait!
He's right down here in the bottom of right here. He's right here.
Shit just got real.
Got real.
Deal with it.
A deadly encounter.
So, Shango, Ren, and Biero, you arrive back at Grey Skull Embassy around the same time.
As you guys come back in, you see Nox walking with like a glass in his hand and still has a book in his hand, and he's just drinking and walking at the same time. Hits a pillar. Damn it, this isn't easy. And then he'll walk upstairs.
Are you trying to hit a pillar?
Unsure that I am, but apparently a reader he's becoming now.
I assume that you all heard that message as well? Looking to be our own.
Indeed. I assume he did as well, if you heard it.
Yeah. 3 of us, Fike, Renata, and me did, so.
You've made friends with the hobgoblins.
It appears so.
This'll
With
be
the
fun.
entire-
I doth assume that is sarcasm in the most extreme sense.
You're picking it up well, Ren.
However, what is a radar?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. You've gotten his attention.
Okay. What is wrong?
I was
You put me on the spot there.
fumbling with my words. I apologize.
Insert other idiom here that she
Yes.
probably still doesn't know.
See, it's excessive use of the scry spell. Things.
Oh.
Okay, and now Thorn shows up.
Hey, Thorn.
Did you get the message as well, Thorn?
Hmm?
Did you also get the message from the hobgoblins?
What? What? Yes. Yes. Dastardly things. They nearly interrupted what I was doing.
Well, then we should kill them.
Yes, we should.
Ren just kind of cringes a little bit, given the the situation the conversation they just had coming back, and let us be more wary about that at the moment. I pray you.
Well, we know where they are. We could kill them if we so wished.
True. No hurry at the
Raise my hands and walk away.
I would not suggest going now, Shango. We should probably rest first.
Thumbs up as I'm walking.
As I was saying to them, I hath no inclination that we would not see them in the future either way. Seemeth to be fate in a sense.
Indeed. But whatever they're up to, I have no intention of interrupting their plans.
No intention.
You have no intention of stopping their plans. You have no intention of interrupting their plans.
I have no intention of stopping interrupting their plans.
Oh.
So you have no intention of stopping their plans, or no intention.
I intend to stop all of their plans.
Knox has come down from the stairs to put the glass back, and he's like, "Oh fuck, that sentence hurt my brain." Oh damn. And he puts the glass down and goes back upstairs.
Unfortunately, I lack the ability to say, but if your brain still hurts in the morning, please come to me.
Will do.
Also, if it's more of a psychological issue, I'll have you know there in many different forms.
Noxus has walked away.
I don't believe he understands, Master Thorn.
It doesn't seem he understands much.
You are not wrong, however. In
Thanks,
this particular
guys.
instance.
Thanks, guys.
You're not fire resistant. You're taking full damage from that.
I'm sorry, it was too
And
easy.
Farn, because he's out of spells, does not have a cure wounds for that sick burn.
Deal with it!
Damn.
And you do not get a dex save.
So, anyway, Fike, you find yourself to a tavern slash performance house for the evening, and have all the revels you wish. Make just a general charisma check.
Yeah, sure.
Investigation
like-
to find a blue dragonborn.
Yeah.
It's a mon. It's pretty easy to find one.
Not really. Dragonborns are endangered at the moment.
Endangered? Well, I mean, Ravenites is dragonborn.
No, they're Revenites.
We are dragonborn. Don't. Hey, listen. we
That's
are
racist.
Who you ask, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And guess what? There is no race here.
Actually, there's quite many
Yeah,
different.
that's a few.
Gosh damn it.
Yeah. 15. Yes, you find a place to perform. The performance is not your best, as you're still pretty sore from. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not your best work because you're still pretty sore from having fought a dragon. But your performance is good enough to draw the attention of several suitors for the evening.
Cool. I make sure they're okay with wearing a saddle and getting shocked onto the bed.
They're all GGG. So, as we go back to the keep, is there any conversations that you guys would like to have before going to bed?
Yeah, I'll if Tharn and Ren are the only ones around, I'll also mention the information that I got from Tara. And I'll say I received a message from Tara, and I think I may have told you about Elsa, who unfortunately was left behind in the Hobgoblin Empire, but she may still be alive. So I need to go to Craghammer as soon as possible to see what else Tara has to share, and if there may be anything to be done to rescue Elsa.
Of course. I would not think that the others would be against dealing with that as well. I know we needed to go to New Draconia eventually for Noxus, but getting information for you should be fine.
I appreciate the support.
Of course.
I only hope that I can correct this mistake on my part.
We all have made mistakes, Biero. But you're attempting to fix it, and I doth not believe this one was entirely your fault either.
Don't be so hard on yourself, boy. What has befallen this Elsa is simply out of your control. Let it go. Let it go.
Fuck! Fuck you! Fuck you, Mark!
10 points for Gryffindor!
I hope you can see this. I'm doing it as hard as I can.
Oh man, can I give him inspiration?
Also, I was the first one to use that joke, damn you. Just in chat.
I understand she's some kind of evocation sorceress, primarily ice magics.
I doth not believe if that is accurate or not.
She was actually more of an infiltrator.
Anyway, if there's nothing else, did you guys want to go to bed for the evening?
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right. So
About 45 minutes.
All right. So all of you except for Nox find yourselves to sleep for the evening, except for Nox. And you are able to sleep well in the comfort of the embassy, whether it's out in the temple gardens of Sarenrae or in private quarters that have been provided to you. You all heal up. You get your spell slots back. All that good stuff. Noxus, you stay up all night. You don't regain any hit points. You don't get to take advantage of your ability that gives temporary hit points. None of the stuff that you regain on a long rest come back. The only things that come back. Do you bother to take a short rest throughout the night?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I took a short rest when we got back.
All right. So your short rest stuff comes back, but the other stuff doesn't. So you have 1 point of exhaustion, which means you have disadvantage on all ability checks.
Got it.
But you are able to get in 12 hours of... Or wait. 7, 8. You're able to get 10 hours of reading in.
Okay. I will write that somewhere in my page.
And we don't get the usual 7 temporary hit points
No.
from... Yep.
Yeah,
I gotta
you
take
had
that
it from last. I don't know how long it lasts, but you got it from the last one.
Yeah, but they all just went and long rested.
Mhm.
So
Okay. That resets temporary hit points, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have it.
I'm going to
Gotcha.
spend 10 minutes in the morning to resummon Valor, my
Okay.
horse,
Okay.
through, what's that? Or that's well, find Steed,
Mhm.
and then I'll ride back towards the keep with a spring in my step.
Alrighty. You find yourself back to the keep early in the morning, as everyone is gathered down around the. Everyone has gathered downstairs, where Lena has prepared a feast of a breakfast for all of you, a traditional Amanian breakfast: eggs and blood sausage and fried tomatoes and bacon and all sorts of goodies.
Blood sausage.
Oh,
Off
thanks,
to the
Lena.
city I must go. Off to the city I must go. Please inform me when the council we will meet.
Aren't we not going to study the groups together?
I still gotta read this book, but I'll come with you guys. Holy shit, I'm tired.
Did
Yeah,
you not
Nox is
sleep,
visibly-
Noxus?
What? What'd you say?
Did you not sleep?
No, it's a riveting book. So good. I'm awake. I'm good.
Perhaps some extra coffee for Noxus, Lena. Please.
Please. Thank you. Maybe some speed. I don't know. I'm gonna need it.
I could
Speed?
definitely find us some snuff. Don't worry.
Were you
can-
lesser restoring?
Oh no, I went to go read what it does, and it doesn't
okay.
do the thing that I want to do. So,
Nope.
Oh, Biro, here's your stunner back. It was very handy last night.
Stunning, one might say.
Do I know prestidigitation?
I don't know. Do you?
I do.
Got the
need
prestidigitation spray.
Do you, Bureau?
I do not.
The spray.
I take it daintily and ask if somebody can prestidigitate this for me.
I wiped it off.
I snap, and I disinfect it.
So Shango, as you're about to get up, Renata asks you about stuff you guys had to do today.
So we're not all going to research the candidates.
Certainly. Are we all going?
Well, they need us to all of our information, yes? Or our recommendation.
I wouldn't mind stopping to pick up some spell components if we have time.
I mean, I'm
Time we shall make.
used to you guys, but I'm really tired. But yeah, I'll help. Wasn't smart, but you know.
Priorities have been set.
All right. So would you guys like to go get spell components first, and then go investigate the two candidates, or what's your plan for the day?
Yep, that's my plan. I first grab spell components and then to the Lyceum.
Okay. So you tell the party that that's what your plan is?
Yes.
Okay.
Off we go to Gilmore's.
Alrighty. So, is everyone going to Gilmore's, or are other people going to do other things? You gotta talk to me, guys. I don't know what you're doing.
You're considering
I'm
it.
gonna go interview people.
I'll go with the fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Go
gonna go and stock up on a few things.
All right. So Bureau, Shango, Tharn are going to get stock up on some things.
I might help Fike with finding people.
Okay. Fike, Noxus, and Ren are going to interview people.
Splitting the party.
Split the party.
We should probably set up a time once
Rendezvous?
they're done. Yeah, rendezvous point.
Yeah. What was the time that you're supposed to meet the council with Strath and stuff?
They asked you to meet later in the afternoon, so around dinner-ish time.
All right.
All right. Fantastic.
To give
Yeah,
you the so they essentially assume was like you have the night and the day to look into these people for me, essentially. But,
Quick question: is the harbor port on the way into the city? No, I think it's out of the way, right?
it is not. Here, let me
Okay.
do this for you.
Perfect. We're down by the lower slumps, right?
Yeah, so
somewhere.
you're just outside the city. You're essentially like a little bit. Actually, you're like over here, essentially.
Okay.
Um,
And
Gilmore's is in Abadar's Promenade, up here.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
As a matter of fact,
Oh.
it's that little. It's the number one right there.
Because he's number one.
Yes, because he's number one in your programs and number one in your heart. So Tharn, Viero, and Shango, you guys find yourselves to Gilmore's. What kind of magical components do you need to stock up on?
I'll
Go ahead.
get 30 golds worth of incense, charcoal, and there was one more thing that I need for the Find Familiar. Herbs. Incense, charcoal, and herbs. 30 gold worth, so that should be 3 castings of Find Familiar.
All right. Totally. They happily provide it to you without
That's it.
question.
Yep, that's all I need.
Bureau, Tharn.
I will get 500 golds worth of magical chalks.
Okay.
And, because I have
that would be 10 castings, right?
Yep.
They only have 250 golds worth of magical chalks at the moment. Their supply is running fairly thin, as trade has been, recently had been shut down. But hopefully within the next couple weeks or so, with the trade routes across the sea open, they should be a lot more fuller on supplies. But you can get 250 gold worth.
Okay, so I have this membership card that says if I spend 500 gold on components, I get 100 gold worth free. And last time I'd spent 300 gold. So can I get 200 gold worth and the 50 gold, the remaining 50 gold and Shango's components for free?
Make a persuasion check.
VP.
No!
Yeah.
No, you can't.
They are happy to accommodate you with this, as they are a little bit embarrassed that they couldn't fulfill the order that you requested, so they're happy to do that.
Nice.
Cool.
Tharn?
I'm gonna need 300 gold worth of diamond dust.
Okay.
Is there any sort of limitation or problem with that?
Nope, they have that if you wanted to get a couple doses,
Get dosed.
couple uses.
Diamonds.
They have a couple uses.
Okay.
Castings. If you want to get more than one, it's up to you though.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get 300 of those.
Okay.
I'm going to get items needed to make the 25 gold tincture for true seeing. I'll get 2 of those. So
yep. They have 4 available if you wanted to get more. But...
Oh, okay. I'll get 2 of those.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, sure. I'll get all 4. It's only 100 gold, right?
I'm just letting you know how much they have. It's up to you how much you want to spend.
Yeah. And do they have any diamonds worth 300 or 500?
They have 2 diamonds worth 300 gold and 1 diamond worth 500 gold.
All right, I'll get those.
All 3 of them?
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty. The woman behind the counter is very pleased that you have come into her shop.
I will also get, if they have it, 2 1,000 gold chalices.
Damn.
Yeah. They have exactly 2 1,000 gold chalices.
Nice.
They're mine.
Does the
Shelves are starting to look kind of bare.
What did they do to nature in these rocks? Oh, this is shiny.
Look at how many oranges you could fit in this chalice.
All the apples.
And some rum.
Vero, what were you asking?
Oh, rip the rum.
I was going to ask the attendant if she might be able to, if she was at all familiar with the spell that, or the sort of magic that might have been used to teleport all of those hobgoblins to us, and I'll describe how many teleported and as much as I could have observed about it.
Okay. Just make a general intelligence. Make an Arcana check to see how well you can. From watching it happen and then relaying the information to her to see if she can.
Not so much.
So she does not get advantage on her. She looks at you and says, I mean, there are many different items that can be imbued with magical properties, whether they are permanent enchantments or more of a, one-time use kind of thing.
Does she start listing them?
She does not. But she says, from the description you're giving me, I can't really narrow it down with any real certainty or confidence.
Well, I appreciate you trying. It was worth asking.
But yes, there could be some form of some kind of a conjurative teleportation magic that is either imbued in an item or cast by an individual. I mean, there's many different kinds. So,
Understood.
So when you guys are done there, you guys are headed to the Lyceum afterwards, or I know Shango is anyway.
I am, yep. And I'll tell people that I'm off to the Lyceum.
Okay. Vero and Tharn, are you going to the Lyceum as well?
Would I have an idea where these two candidates would be likely to have spent time?
Likely either in the make just off the top of your head, make a general intelligence check. 6. No. However, based on your background, you do have means of getting that information.
Okay. I'll reach out to my contacts and see if they have any information, or at least any information about where they might have been seen most frequently.
Okay. Tharn?
Sure, let's go to the Lyceum.
Alrighty.
I haven't been there yet. Wait, no, I was once when we teleported back in, right?
We walked through it.
I think so.
Yes, that's right. When you first came, when you
They tried
first
to kill a bird.
teleported back to Amman, yeah, where the guy tried to kill a pigeon or something, and you
Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He held person on him.
So Fike, Noxus, and Renata, you guys are going where?
Oh yeah, this is from back when I was listing places we could go that might be useful for figuring stuff out.
I suggest we go to probably local guild leaders and ask, because he's going to be taking care of certain actions over the city. So I think maybe local guild leaders might know something that we do not, of what he's done or in what regard he will be doing now.
Certainly. Perhaps. I'm a bit curious about the Temple of Arathis. He's going to be the lawbearer after all. Are they?
It's a good idea. I guess we could start there. I think that's a good starting point.
Alrighty. So you guys head into the temple district, the three of you, familiar district to all of you now. As you walk through the streets, walking past the many temples, the God's Brawl Arena, which is near the Temple of Cord. You pass by the Garden of the Wild Mother. You walk past the Temple of the Arkheart, as well as the Temple to Sarenrae, until you find a large marble building that looks very much almost like a courthouse.
With trees just growing all around it, cracking its foundation.
There's trees everywhere.
Ren just like
There are several city gardeners out there with shocked expressions on their faces, trying to undo whatever this terrible.
And those two
magic has
man
done.
saws.
Yeah,
Like on the second floor, there's just windows with branches that have run through them.
Yes.
And like,
Ren, what a
is
Kobayashi
this-
Maru is.
I haven't been to the Temple District much. Is this is this temple in use or?
I have not been down here too far. I shall not make assumptions, but I have a few.
I'll make the assumptions. It was fun.
Thank you, Noxus.
Let's keep that to ourselves, considering that might be illegal.
Precisely.
As you make your way up to the front of the building, you can see several acolytes outside, all of them wearing holy symbols of Arathis, the lawbearer, the scales of justice hanging from their necks, as they all kind of like look in disbelief and bewilderment at the shape of the temple, confused as to if you hear some of them gossiping a bit, if maybe this is part of the ongoing prank war with the Temple of Melora.
Yes, it is.
Is it prank war? Is it not simply a lover's... Not a quarrel in this case, I suppose, but...
Exactly what it is.
As you make your way into the front gates of the temple, the inside looks very much almost like a courtroom. There are many rows of pews, and at the end there is a large dais, atop which sits a huge symbol of Arathis, the enormous gold scales of justice, being held out by a blind figure, a figure of Arathis with a blindfold tied around her face. And you can see that there is someone who looks to be wearing a bit more fancy, or not fancy, but robes. You've been in enough temples to recognize someone whose clerical robes or priestly robes tend towards them being someone of a bit higher station. It is a human male, probably in his mid to late 60s, with gray and white hair, the bald head, with a well kept but white bushy beard, signing some paperwork that some of their lower acolyte is holding out for him to sign.
That man is dressed like me. Let's talk to him.
After you, Fike.
I'll. Father.
Just a moment, and you watch as he signs. He appears to initial 3 more times, sign 2 more times, and then finish doing that in triplicate before he turns back to the two of you and says, "Yes, my name is Judge Albert. May I be of assistance? Is there some sort of disagreement you need me to oversee or arbit?
Oh.
Bong bong.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! I have that.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's my ringtone.
So it's Your Honor
My
then,
email
I'd
work.
assume.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Your Honor, my apologies. I am Father Vanderfyke from the Temple of Sarenrae. We are just walking around. We're trying to get
Yes.
an idea of this Kellen Cobble, whatever his last name is, because I screw it up every time.
Cobblehob.
Cobblehob. We're trying
And-
to interview people to see whether or not he would be a good fit for the Master of Law in this situation. We've been asked by the council to just interview a few people and see what everybody thinks, and we thought that you would be a vast wealth of knowledge.
Yes. Well, Kellen has been with us for many years. Is there something specific you wished to know?
His character, his bonds, his flaws, his it's just whether or not you believe, in your honest opinion, he would be a good fit for this job.
Any condition immunities, resistances.
You're not there.
What his alignment is.
Well, from my understanding, he's not the only one up for the position.
Yes, of course. We were going to start with one and then the other. We are seeking as much information as possible, Your Honor.
Kellen is a good, fair-minded man. He has a unique interpretation of the law at times. Though I don't think that I can say that I disagree with the judgments or decisions he has come across. He began as a member Amanian god of the city, survived the attacks of the Chroma Conclave to go on and become an acolyte here at the Temple of Arathis, studying the law of the city and becoming a someone that we trusted to settle more civil and interpersonal disputes. Quickly, his grasp of the law and his interpretation of and use of old statutes and new interpretations shot him up through the ranks rather over the years, and found himself in charge of more important decisions later in life.
Was that the uniqueness you were referring to?
Well, yes. I mean, it's hard to talk about without bringing up specific instances. Perhaps an example. Many years ago, there was a man brought before us who was accused of theft. It was shortly after the events of the Chroma Conclave, and the city was still in a bit of an uproar. He had been, he was a former member of the Clasp and had been caught stealing. Several witnesses had come forward informing us that the stealing he was doing, even though he would not admit it himself, it would appear that he was stealing to help feed some workers who had been disabled by the dragon attack and could not fend for themselves. Now, by the letter of the law, he was guilty. However, Kellen decided he needed the night to think on things before he could make his decision, and came back the next morning when he was expected to render judgment, and brought about this old archaic statute from before the times of even King Drassig, and interpreted it in, if I might say, a rather unique way, to find the man guilty, but through technicalities, which I must say are things that we find here at the Temple of Arathis most exciting. But through technicality, was able to lessen the man's sentence to near nothing, and also keep the charge off of his record.
Looks like interested in like the ancient type idea of like a little curious about that, but let's
So
him speak.
he would be
But she's taking notes in her journal as she goes through.
lawful neutral. Understood.
I don't understand this qualification.
His own.
It's just how the interpretation of the law would be the letter of the law, and then what the law would mean through a slightly different shade.
The spirit
So,
of the law.
The
sorts.
spirit of the law. Thank you, Ren. That was very well put.
Thank you.
Now, conversely, there was another case where there was a rather wealthy merchant lord who had complaints brought against him by several workers down at the docks, that he was withholding pay from them for unlawful reasons. Through investigation, Kellen found that the merchant lord had in fact broken no laws, and through the contracts that he had with the dock workers, was well within his rights to the letter of the contracts to be withholding pay. However,
Shit.
However, again, Kellen, being the studious one, delved into the contracts and found for the plaintiffs, the dock workers, and a rather large sum against the merchant lord, through again the interpretation of certain laws in a unique way, though the merchant lord had technically not broken any statutes of the city. He was forced to pay out to the dock workers what he owed and a bit extra.
So it sounds like he is the spirit of the law, but also for the greater good.
Interpret it as you will. I'm not one to. I'm not. You came to me seeking character analysis. I'm will merely relate to you the facts as I see them, sir, and you can interpret them as you will.
I just didn't want to misinterpreting your interpretation.
What
With all due respect.
well, if I may be so bold to ask, why was he holding their pay?
The merchant lord?
Yes.
Oh, this was many years ago, from over 20 years ago. From what I could recall, he had apparently made some. It's hard for me to remember. Oh, but I rolled a 19 on my intelligence check. From what I can remember, yes. Kellen
Like it was
had
yesterday.
said that he had argued that, which technically was true. There were certain parts of the contract that were violated by the dock workers, but through no fault of their own. Some labor disputes, some minor, some very minor storage infractions. Certain things being stacked on top of one another. Nothing that resulted in the damage of his property or anything like that. But he, by the letter of the law, the merchant lord was, and by the letter of the contract, the merchant lord did seem to have an iron tight case.
10 points for Slytherin. I believe Ren's a Slytherin, so I can't give
No.
her
She's not.
the not a
She's
Hufflepuff?
she's a Hufflepuff. No, Ravenclaw.
I don't know.
I don't
I have
know.
no
Well, Ren
idea.
would probably be Gryffindor, but
Never watched any of that shit.
I am.
Yeah, me neither.
So.
I think that's a very well summed up conversation. Unless any of you guys have any more conversation or questions, I believe that's will do for now.
unless you noticed anything about Ms. Saltith.
I've had a few run-ins with her. Yes, she is not a associate of this temple or a follower of the lawbearer, but I've heard things.
Might we ask what
Like.
thou hast heard?
Spill the tea, Your Honor.
Make a perception check or a persuasion check.
Ooh.
I'll say with advantage because you're being assisted by the others.
Who? Like me or Fike?
I mean, you're the one that asked.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I want to make sure. Okay.
Roll good. Roll good. I believe
I'm
in you.
trying. Hey.
Yeah, you see? I believe.
Well, if you ask me, that one has no respect for the law. She believes what she believes, and only the gods can stop her from trying to push it forward. But that's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Kind of like her. At least she stands for what she believes in. That's pretty.
Just elbow knocks his.
I'll definitely say that is true. Whether you view that as a vice or a virtue.
A bond or a flaw? Yes.
What is it with you and bonds and flaws? And
They make up.
is that a thing over at the Sarenrae Temple?
It's on this sheet of notes I've written down. So I've got a bunch of things on there describing their character.
Wait, what?
If you don't mind me asking, why are you so inquisitive about who's going to be made new lawmaster?
Just curious citizens, right?
No, we have been gotten the opportunity to give some sort of our personal insight on these during the election for the council's sake.
He
we do not
kind of
have
taps his nose and says, "Agents of the council, say no more."
I am an agent of Sarenrae and Sarenrae alone, but I help where I am
Of course you
asked
are.
to be helped.
I mean,
Winks.
I feel like I'm being
Pat's
talked down to, and I don't like that.
Puts a hand on Fike's shoulder and just gives one of those, like, don't worry about it.
She hails from the temple of Palor. If you want to find out any more information about her.
I think we will do that. Thank you very much. And I just tap my nose because I don't know what that means. And I walk.
Just give a bow. Oh, thanks, Your Honor.
Yes.
real quick, Your Honor. What is your stance on the What is their? Would you know their stand?
Who stands on what?
How do you pronounce it?
Kellen.
Kellen. Honor Kellen's stand. The issues in New Draconia.
I've never had the opportunity to discuss it with him, to be quite honest with you.
Okay. Oh well.
Are you
Personally,
trying to start a litmus test for judges? Is that what's going on?
I wanted to
What is
see
your opinion on foreign politics?
out of character. I wanted to see what his foreign policy was, and I wanted to see if he was
See, was what?
racist.
Oh.
but Judge Albert says, as far as I'm concerned, it's for the Dragonkin to figure out. It's on a completely different continent, and as much as the Council seems to want to send agents over there to assist in nation building, I don't know. There's plenty here for them to be dealing with. I'm not sure that is exactly where our resources can be best spent, but...
Oh, God, he's a keep Amon great again guy.
Amiga hat? I don't think.
Acolyte Marcus, I've told you before not to interrupt me when I'm talking with agents of the council, and it has nothing to do with that. We just survived an attack by 4 ancient dragons only 20 years ago. We're still getting the economy back up off the ground.
Okay, boomer. All these post-dragon attack boomers.
I was here before the conclave. I will be here after. We are the greatest generation.
I'm sitting here like, oh shit, I did not mean to open this can of worms.
You see that Amonian flag? Them colors don't run.
Just dragging Noxus away.
What did I do? What did I do? I'm so sorry.
You started this.
I'm leaving. I'm so sorry.
So you guys find your way out of the temple.
Them throwing shit at us as we leave. I was like, I thought we were leaving on a good.
Just clutching her journal and just like,
You go outside and the judge's horse is tied up out front. There's a bumper sticker on the back that says Amon first.
And this is why I preferred remaining a knight.
What is God's lives matter? What is this?
Let us simply go to the Temple of Palor while
Why
we
would,
are here.
why would you save that into a horse?
Come along, Pike.
Yeah.
It's artistic
branding.
expression.
It's branding. It's terrible to do that to an animal.
Come on,
It's animal cruelty.
Anyway,
I am so glad that Thon was not here with us.
There are many ways.
We cut over to
In a way, Thorn's always there with you.
yeah.
AKA all the trees that he grew up through
Yeah.
the building.
We cut over to Tharn and Shango, who have arrived at the Lyceum, and are at the front desk. And as you come into the vast libraries of the Lyceum, there's a front desk person there. Says, "Yes, how can I assist you?"
Greetings, my good sir. I'm looking for public records.
Actually, my name is Bella.
Oh!
Greetings, good Beller. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just said assistant.
There's definitely facial hair and stuff, but Miss Bella.
Does Bella
Greetings.
also have resting dumb face?
No,
Is she
she
pregnant
has
with a vampire's baby?
no, but she has that permanent squint of someone who's constantly trying to read small print.
I am looking for public records on Kellen Cobblehead and Silgri Salt Earth. Where would I find those, please?
They take out a small, little card of parchment and write down a section, essentially like a row and shelf number for you, and hand it to you.
My thanks. Also, records of the port, ships leaving and arriving. Do you keep those here or within the port?
Those would be kept by the dockmaster.
My thanks to you.
In the the port in the port district.
My thanks to you. I shall check there later. And I head off towards where she pointed me.
All right.
Darn, you coming? I assume he's following me. I don't know.
I assume
Yes.
yes. So you guys, I assume you guys are going to look up the public records on their cases and things of that nature.
Yeah, so like what kind of services they've held within the city, any sort of positions they've held, or
Mhm.
whatever the record has on them, if they have been like part of organizations, run any sort of beneficial things, or run against the law with the law.
All right. So I guess I'm going to ask, how do you want to do this? Would one of you like to search and research each of them? Do you want to, both research them together, giving one of advantage? How do you guys want to go about doing this?
This is Shango's thing, so I'll just give him advantage
You're going to assist him?
and guidance.
Okay. Who would you like to research first?
I'll start with Kellen Cobblehead.
Cobblehob.
Hob.
Cobblehob, sorry.
C-O-B.
You're reading for 2 hours about Kelton Cobblehead until you realize that
Yeah.
Damn it!
It's like, ah, shit. That's just like not even related.
Yeah. Make an investigation check.
This person's a human.
You have guidance as well.
Nice.
So a 24.
24.
You and Tharn sit down. He puts he's got his investigatory bifocals out. You guys deep dive into some scrolls and research. What you're able to discover about Cullen Cobblehob is that he emigrated here from Craghammer many over 150 years ago. He became a city guard, and after he did his time as a city guard, became an acolyte of.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
No, city guard, not Siri guard.
Yeah, yes. Forgot what I was saying.
Acolyte.
Became an acolyte of
Yeah.
the Temple of Arathis. You find similar information as far as his history. You go through some of his court documents. You get the sense that reading through a lot of his decisions and his court statements, that he is someone who sticks to the letter of the law, but that's not something that he allows to stop him from doing the right thing, for lack of a better term. He will he's delayed decisions for weeks, it would appear, for him to be able to go and deep dive through the laws and records of Amon to find some obscure statute that he can twist and turn and interpret in a way that will allow him to do what you think he thinks is the right thing.
Gotcha. Was there anything about him dealing at all with the burning fires in the grove or the cave left that we had dealt with in the while back?
It does not appear that he has any tie to
anything with it. Okay.
No.
So there's nothing. Okay. All right.
No.
Yeah. I assume while I'm reading, Thorn just periodically points like, you should read here, no, and you should read that, no.
Or doing his own research and making bullet point lists for you to look over.
This is what I found.
This is what I found, kind of thing.
Damned activist judges.
Yes.
Someone who's really against civilization, he really is into it.
And with a 24, you see that he's never one to go against the law or create new precedent, but will always put in the time to find a way to make existing law kind of fit what he's thinks
So
is
rather than changing things, he finds loopholes basically in the existing ones to get around. Yep.
yeah.
That's not good.
Right.
All right, and
And
then do you want to research Silgri?
still agree.
12. She has less records on her, as she is, Kellen is 263 years old, so there's a lot more to work with.
Yeah.
Silgri Salt Earth is, to put it in terms that I know Mark will appreciate, someone who went to law school the hard way. To
I
put
was
it in
waiting for
less
which one of these was going to be Justice Mendoza. I figured it was going to be the one that started out as a town guard and then eventually became a judge.
Silgray was also a town guard, and was always a follower of Palor, the Dawn Father. The records, you have more records of her from her time as a city guardsman. She bumped noses, or she ran into the clasp a lot. She would often kind of break protocol in order to get the job done. In what she's based on her reports, it was her eyes. Going into storehouses without warrants.
Gotcha.
Though she may have been right on the other side of it, has a few reprimands on her. That kind of, with the 12 things that kind of stand out to you, has a few reprimands on her sheet from doing things like that. Though she did find contraband from going in, still went in before having authorization to do so.
More of a Riggs than a Murtaugh, huh? We got one that's a loose cannon, flies by the seat of their pants. The other one is way too old for this shit.
She's only been in a position of the city to be ruling on cases for probably 10 years now. As far as what Tharn was talking about before, though, being activist judge, it would appear that that's definitely the kind of thing she's gone down. She had once had to rule on a case finding someone guilty, and then spent the next 3 years petitioning the council to change the law so that she could then get that person out of jail.
All right.
Were they caught with spice?
No.
Just enough for personal use?
Yeah, what was that story about? What'd they do?
Spice? You spice?
Simple spice possession, and I'm required by mandatory minimums to put them in prison for years?
I mean, not spice, but a lesser kind of illicit substance. Yes.
Spice Light.
Spice
All
right.
light.
The Taldore, or the Exandria equivalent of marijuana.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Someone who
figured.
was,
Yeah.
who was young, caught with obviously not enough for them to be trying to make money off of it.
Yeah.
But had a couple was a street urchin, came from one of the orphanages in town, had a couple things on their record already of petty theft, and so yeah.
Still a loaf of bread or two, and then
Yeah.
A poor
Gotcha.
half-elf neighborhood.
Yeah. You also not with the 12 you wouldn't find it, though. Sorry.
the tease. All right.
Well, this
I
one
guess
seems to hardly have any sort of respect for established rules.
But basically, the basic thing you get is believes in interpreting the law to do what's right. The laws are flexible for moral good. Is the basic thing you get from them.
Yes. All right.
Alrighty. With that,
Yep.
sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, just under the peers, they are quite opposites from the little we have been able to gain on Silgri.
With that, we'll cut over to Biero. Biero, you're using your contacts in the city to kind of see what you can learn about the two.
Yep.
I'm going to say that with the limited amount of time you have to kind of push for information on one or the other.
Okay. I will look for information in particular on Silgri.
Alrighty. I'm going to have you make your criminal contacts check. We'll say it's charisma based, but you'll have proficiency in it. So just make a charisma check that you have proficiency in, whether it's persuasion or deception or something.
But not expertise, right?
No, not expertise.
Okay.
12. So you are able to hear from a couple of your contacts from different districts of the city. The Clasp fucking hate her. Like, fucking hate her. Like, if she didn't have the standing she had, she might have a price on her head. You hear that back when she was. You kind of hear similar things too from you're unaware that Shango is red. She almost as if she had like a personal vendetta against the Clasp.
Okay.
And you hear that a lot of your underworld contacts say that she's had soft spots for people trying to get out of the Clasp, or young kids who get caught up running with them. She had all sorts of informants that came from the poorer parts of the city. In the central district, and in the ports district, and would often use them to get information that she couldn't get through official channels, and then use that information to try and find information that she could use to, go after the Clasp in a more legitimate way.
Interesting. Okay.
But with a 12, that's what you're able to get.
Fair enough.
And lastly, we'll cut back over to Noxus, Fike, and Renata as you guys arrive at the Temple of Palor, a huge, almost like Catholic cathedral type building with these massive stained glass, beautiful, massive stained glass windows all around it. That depict all sorts of imagery of the sun and righteous fire and the Dawn Father, and him battling dark elements of the elements of darkness. As you come inside, you are directed to an older elven woman with blonde, almost platinum blonde hair, tied back into a braid, still wearing the bright yellow and gold and orange vestments of the Dawn Father. And as she's finishing up with some business, she comes over and says, "So, one of my acolytes told me you wish to speak to me about Silgray.
That is correct.
Who might you be, if you don't mind me asking?"
I am Father Van der Fyke from the Church of Soundray. These are my compatriots, Renata and Noxus.
Hello.
Yes. The Lady of Retribution's followers are always welcome here.
It's good to know that.
How might I be of
we-
assistance to you?
We were just looking for some information, just personal opinion on Silgray and their relationship with you and this fine establishment that you're in.
Make a persuasion check, Fike.
Sure.
$19. Yes, Silgray. One of our fiercest fighters against the forces of darkness, both in this city and abroad. She has an unending drive to bring evil into the light and make sure that it is, if it cannot be locked away, burnt in righteous fire. Her tactics to some might seem excessive at times, but in this city and the times that it has seen, I'm not sure that that's not exactly what has been needed, with certain forces from the bowels of this city having more sway.
We're
Then-
literally picking between Harvey Dent and Batman. It's literally what's going on. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I
Go
mean-
ahead.
You're not
I
wrong.
choose Batman. I choose Batman. I want Batman.
She has a unflappable moral compass. And I would say, and I do not say this lightly in a city like this, if anyone if I could put this label on anyone in this city, it would be her. She is uncorruptible.
It's hard to be corrupted when you believe in yourself so much, as you've said.
Also, insight
Um,
check.
Make an insight check.
I would like to make an inside check.
Make an insight check with disadvantage, Noxus.
But can it be?
You're
with
exhausted.
You're
advantage?
exhausted.
You're
Can it
exhausted.
be with? But can it be with advantage though?
No, it can't.
Please, just please, please.
Okay, you can have advantage. There you
It
go.
was with advantage.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
There is no doubt in your mind that this woman believes exactly what she's saying.
She's on the up and up, guys. She's right.
Thank
Totally,
you.
100%. 100%. I believe her.
Do you think she would be a great fit for the council, considering the city sits on such a tenuous balance of alliances within guilds and merchants and all of that? Do you think if someone were to bring something ill into the city, that tenuous, very fragile relationship could be broken quite easily with her stern hand?
Well, from my understanding, the whole idea of the council is to have not one person in charge, but several. Therefore, they can have bring balance to one another and have a check on each other's power and influence. And the characters that are there, I do not mean to speak ill of any, they each have their own areas of expertise, some of them in schools and talents that are not about keeping things in the light of day. And Her transparency, I think, would shine a light on certain things that might need shining a light on. That certain members of the council might deem it unimportant for the general populace not to know.
So what you're saying is she would flip politics on its ass.
That's not at all what I said.
I apologize for him. He is sleep deprived.
Sorry.
I can
What
tell.
I meant to say.
I've
What I
never
meant to
seen
say
bags
is.
under the eyes of a dragonborn before.
Yeah, I've never seen scale sag either before, but
Yes.
All right, it's not that bad. Okay.
She holds up a mirror to your face.
Holy
But-
shit!
Shh.
Spike thought
Roxas!
Saggy said of scales just last night.
Got him.
But
What I meant to say is yeah, you know what?
Dolphin,
would you like to lie down?
No, I really want to read this book, but I think I'm asleep.
What
If I
about-
made a
Oh.
I just personally, I'm just gonna take my coin purse and I'm just going to jiggle it a little bit. And I said, if is there any donation I can make if you could give him a little bit of more pep in his step, just so he's a little more attentive.
I mean, there are many different avenues I could take in that direction. What kind of donation are you thinking?
I'll just palm like 20 gold. Just, it is, I'm not sure, but if there's anything you could do for, I mean, I have
She
more.
kind of tosses it in her hand, and she calls over an acolyte who carries a large mug of coffee.
That's a very expensive cup of coffee. That better.
I had some of this earlier.
I think you'll find that it's
Super
a bit
pale
more
or coffee. It's
like Cuban
espresso.
coffee.
Oh, Cuban coffee.
Is it like one of the small tiny cups?
No, it's a big ass. It's a
Oh,
big ass
fuck.
mug of coffee.
Oh,
This can go
It's-
terribly.
you're
It's
going
like
to be
all
up.
right.
adrenaline.
All right, bottoms up, and I just
No,
scat.
it's hot coffee. What are you doing?
I
It's a
down it.
Constitution save.
Oh boy.
It's to not shit your pants instantaneously. You understand this, right?
10. Yeah. Noxus is wired.
Fuck.
It's some of the strongest coffee. It is the strongest coffee you've ever had. It's probably stuff that should be served in an espresso shot, but it's like one of those big jumbo, it's like one of those big
Oh,
jumbo
shit.
mugs. But I mean, it's gonna keep you awake for a while, but you're gonna crash and it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So would you say I'm still at disadvantage or no?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure, but I'm more alert. Like,
You have
If you
to
want,
make.
if you want a 5th level greater restoration, you're gonna have to make a better donation than 200 or 20.
I figured that.
I don't know what that costs. So, and no priest will be like, donate X amount of money. To
I mean,
get this."
you kind of
Exactly.
you have an idea
So-
based on like when you gave donation for the hand and the eye back at
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Because we talked about it. So you
Know
would
what
know.
spell scrolls cost.
that too.
So if you want to, you can, but you don't have to. I'm okay with being a disadvantage. I did this to myself.
Being all
fine.
wired.
I'm kind of okay with you being on cocaine.
While he's doing that, I might try to
I could be-
redirect
I could be on-
things a little
I could be
bit.
on both
I'm
cocaine
sorry.
and-
I don't mean to interrupt, but I am in charge of the Temple of Palor in the largest city on the continent. If there's no other questions that you might have, I do have other responsibilities.
Yes, of course. If I might ask quickly, given what thou hath told us, what wouldst thou consider her policies to be in relation to the former Master Goldhand?
We never spoke at length about her impression of the former master. arbiter, but if I had to venture a guess, I think she looked at him with a great deal of respect. Though at times I could tell she was frustrated that he would not go places that she was. He would not go to places with the law that I think she was hope. He would not push things as far as she would have liked him to. At times. Though she did have a great deal of respect for the man and the things that he had done for the city and the service that he had rendered.
And thou thinkest that if thou couldst place thyself in Master Goldhand's place, wouldst he be willing to have her follow him?
That is an answer that only the Arbiter could give you.
Understand.
I did not know him well enough to make that sort of an conclusion or assumption.
Of course. Oh, thanks.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
What is her stance on the whole Draconia stuff?
I've honestly never asked her.
Why does nobody care about this issue?
Because
Oh my
nobody
God,
gives
sorry.
a shit about foreign
Sorry.
politics.
I'm sorry.
Doctor-
Sorry. I'm a little hyper. Thank you very much.
You can ask her.
Where is she?
I'm unaware. I imagine she is somewhere in the city.
Yeah.
Doth thou knowest
Fine.
where she mayst frequent?
I have a good idea.
Well, I mean, fight. The council's involved in this, so why wouldn't we ask that question?
Anyway, if there's nothing else,
I'm all good. That was my question. Thank you for the coffee.
Fike? Checking to make sure Fike's okay.
All my questions were answered.
alrighty. Well, thank you, and may Palor's light shine upon you. As she turns and returns to her priestly duties. It's getting about that time that you had all agreed to meet up. Probably somewhere in the Cloud Top district, as it's only an hour or so before you're supposed to meet with the council. As you had instructed Strats to meet you there as well. You all find each other in a common spot near the Thordax crater, which is much less active now. There's a less guard there, more to make sure people don't go climbing down in there than to make sure that there's nothing coming out anymore, thanks to you. But you all find each other. You all find each other coming together again after a day's worth of investigatory research.
Ren's walking up like with her book open, just reading through the notes that she took over and over again.
As we start talking, a dark-skinned male human walks by and goes, "So, do you get to the Cloud Top district very often?" What am I saying? No, of course you don't. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim since I've been self-quarantining.
Apparently.
Fucking hate Nazim. Anyway, continue.
Greetings.
So, how did everybody find their research?
I
It was
briefly
right where we
convey.
looked for it.
I briefly convey what we found.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll read through our notes and let everyone know.
As do I.
Alrighty.
Silgray seems like an interesting character.
I agree with Biro completely, but I believe that she would work better as not a figurehead. That she should work behind the scenes, doing exactly what she does best, without a seat of power, but protected by the council.
Do you not think
That's
that
just my-
the seat of power would give her the opportunities to do more of what she does?
I think giving a face in a station could make her a bigger target to people and associations that she would not that she would upset the balance for. And Biro, I hope you agree with me that there is a very tender balance between what we have going on in the city and having a figurehead enacting a blatant killing of that tenuous balance will surely throw the scale in the other direction, which is only a cause for retaliation.
I agree. I also think even if she belonged in a seat of power, I'm not sure that this particular one is the right one.
This balance the city is in a good one it is, so one that should be toppled.
Fragile
Forgive my
balance.
ignorance.
I think the city needs more healing and not more destruction at the moment.
I guess I'll disagree with that.
The person in charge of handing down judgments in accordance with the law should be one that people can trust is going to do so, rather than simply what they want.
Yes. I suppose some could consider twisting the most nuanced and old of laws to support their ideas to be somewhat untrusting. I doth not know for certain, but
But they're at least still complying with the laws as written.
Both
That's
have their
true.
ways of getting what they want.
and I have not heard of any, I suppose, decrees from Master Cobblehob that were not for what I would consider a greater good as well. Though
If both are
that
their
changed.
true self, if both are the true self who we believe them to be, then a bad choice I believe they might not be.
It's probably a fair statement.
I had not considered the idea of being in such a high seat of power to be a detriment to Miss Saltearth, but I can see where you are coming from, Fike.
Yes, indeed, a good point that is farther. More efficient she might be otherwise.
I honestly think, as great as she sounds, I think she's gonna have a lot more problems getting what she wants done, and she might create more problems for her and for the council in the long run, just because of everything that she's gonna go through. Just by the way that they talked about her, like I love her. I think she's great. She gets stuff done, but at that level, she's gonna have to answer to the people, and the people may love her, but there may be some people that might create problems, and they might have a new person lined up later on that is not what we would want. I'm just throwing out, a different view.
So what you're saying, Knox, is that she's perfectly qualified and capable. She has a plan for how to deal with all of the problems. But you're worried that the more moderate element would prevent her from enacting all of that, and therefore she would not be a good candidate for the high office she seeks.
I mean, yeah, in layman's terms, yeah. But I mean, it's, as much as it sucks to hear that and say that. Yeah, I think the people that I think there might be a few that like her, but I think that the majority is gonna look at her and say she's gonna be a basket case and a head case, and they don't want to deal with her, and they're gonna try and get rid of her as soon as they can. That's just my opinion. I would love to see her succeed, though.
You mean making her drop out of this thing before her voice can change public sentiment into her way of thinking?
All right.
I don't want that.
It's too real. It's too real.
I don't want that
where's
to happen.
where's my fantasy D&D? Fuck.
Would you?
We added politics to it. Sorry, we're
Mark
not.
Viola is a mirror to society. That's all I am.
Would you think it wise to enable Silgray a position in which she can enact outside of the council?
And is that
I
what she
think-
hath already?
I mean, she's doing really good work right now, right? I mean, she's doing really good work. I mean, let's just think how successful would she be if she had a new position where all eyes are on her, and she can't really do what she really wants to do, and that's like really take care of the people the way she knows how to, and that's sometimes behind the scenes. I don't know.
Hence the question: if less eyes on her, you would think is beneficial.
I do.
Maybe.
Only we could
I
speak
mean,
to them ourselves.
We also need to think about what council member we're going to be upsetting by electing who we want to elect.
Though we are not
No,
electing, we are simply
why?
giving our opinion to the council.
Right.
I understand that, but
As you say that, Fike, you hear the voice of Secret Assume behind you say, "Well, you're not going to have the final say. You are just giving me a recommendation."
Yes.
Holy shit!
Why?
Why does he do that?
Why does it need to be considered further?
I was literally just about to say his name, and he popped up.
Beetlesoom,
He's been standing
Beetlesoom.
there for almost a minute. How have you?
Oh god, I'm gonna start sneak attacking this dude every time.
He is short, but it is quite rude to simply not notice him. You should not be so rude in public company.
Fike, in order for you to sneak attack at me, you would first have to be outside of my sight.
I think that was a burn, Pike.
You have to.
You could
surprise
also
him.
have someone.
And
who
perhaps
is an
not
ally
mention
within
trying to sneak attack a member of the council, Fike.
And don't forget to roll your extra d6, Fike.
What's a decent?
All right. Enough. Now that my heart is in my throat, yes,
What-
Seeker Assume, what do you think?
That's why I sent you out to gather information, so that you all could tell me what you think. Do you have a recommendation for me?
Are we to give a recommendation as one or as individuals?
I think we should do individuals.
That is
Maybe.
entirely up to you. I
Let's
asked all 6 of you to gather your opinion so that I could have a multitude of points of view to gather my information and eventually make my decision.
And that is what we have done. We have gone out and gathered information from multiple sources.
Yes, and now I'm asking you to share with me your
Okay,
opinion.
I'll go
if-
first. I'll
Go
go
ahead.
first then. I will say.
Roxas, who would you choose?
How do you? I'm forgetting how to pronounce her name.
Silgray.
Silgray. I would say Silgray. Just mainly in the fact of she actually cares about things that are going on and she wants to get them done. They may not be in the right mode, but she gets them done and she has results. And you know what? To me, that's kind of what I would want as a council member, is somebody who gets stuff done. I'm just worried that you guys are going to butt heads a lot, but that's my pick.
Sounds like my kind of person. Results. Shango?
Believe I do an unusual solution this might require. As you might have overheard us just talking. Kellen might be the one more suitable for the official public office, while Silgra might be more effective in a less public role.
So, if you could only choose one,
If only one can be chosen for the council itself,
so it is.
Kellen it might have to be.
Renata?
Yes, well, given what we have been speaking about before, I mayest lean towards Master Cobblehob, if only because I feel Miss Saltearth may perhaps, again, pose a bit more trouble in such a open position that may not speak to her strengths as much.
Father?
Daddy's fine. I believe Kellen would be the best at the position that we are currently in. If we are trying to keep the status quo in the relationships with parties in the city, otherwise so gray. But if we are trying to keep that relationship, a delicate balance, I believe Kellen is the best for the position.
Piero? I always trust your counsel.
I think from what I'm hearing, Silgra is quite effective, but more in your way of work than Arbiter Brahm's methodology. Putting her in this position would greatly antagonize the clasp, but she does have a way of getting things done. So perhaps put the person dedicated to acting within the law in the position of the person meant to judge the law, and use this person's skill set in the best way suited to get the results that those skills are designed for.
Guys, Bureau just created a loophole.
That was my thoughts.
So your recommendation for the position of the council?
Kellen Cobblepot.
Cobblehob.
Cobblehob.
He's not the penguin.
Not the penguin!
Guys, Cobble.
Just make it Cobblepot.
That's why I kept it on my screen.
Master Thorn, yours is an outside perspective, and I appreciate such perspectives.
Yes, I don't give a flying shit about your laws and your society, or the political machinations of the people that make up your council. Name whoever you wish, it does not matter either way. If you truly were looking for an establishment of law, you would just follow the teachings of the Wild Mother and be done with it. One, the other, it makes no difference. We should all live in trees.
But Thorn, if you had to pick one,
Which is the better tree? Tree liver.
No.
Get him on a tangent.
Master Noxus, an outside perspective asked for and one given. Thank
The
you.
person doesn't have unilateral decision-making power. They would simply be sitting on your council, gibbering and jabbering about what-nots and who's-its. It doesn't matter who you pick. One voice, another voice. They'd still just be clamoring on and on about the same minutia that doesn't truly matter in the life of a person.
I am so sorry, Master Assume.
Really,
I don't know what you're apologizing for. I asked for the man's honest perspective, and he gave it.
We're always very
a
worried
great,
when he does.
great virtue that is to give the honest opinion.
Honestly, it's in the line of work I deal in, it's nice to find someone who just speaks their mind and says what they mean.
The people of this town love being a city so much. Take the sycophant of Arachnus. These people want someone simply pushing forward, swinging swords willy-nilly at whatever. Then take the Pelorian.
Reiterate the statement of Piero, I would like, and Fike's suggestion as well, if not voiced right now, to recommend Kellen for the position of the council, but along with it, an elevation of the status of Silgray and the extent of her reach.
I appreciate that you've done this, and I will take your recommendations to heart.
See that you do. Mine was a fine recommendation.
Oh, thanks for you listening to us.
I recommend the whole system go fuck itself.
Strats!
At this point, Strats comes walking up and says, you know, they say there are 3 things you should not talk about in polite company.
Nobody asked you.
Oh, damn!
That is, yes, that is true. That's never stopped me before, though. Politics, religions, and sex. If you ask me, is the 3 most interesting subjects, but who am
Wherefore
I?
would one not talk about any of those? What?
Because many people in these civilized places, such as Amman, have very large sticks up their ass.
They get butthurt very easily.
Things
I
have
pull out
certainly
my
changed.
stick.
Yes.
Looking to Fike, just shaking her head.
Metaphor meet reality.
Hey, Fike.
What?
Was I not the only one that got that voice in their head the last night? Did you guys?
Oh
get
no.
that?
Yeah,
We
we
all
all heard it.
Maybe we should tell Assume about that.
Yes,
Perhaps
Speaker.
not so openly.
Tell Assume about what?
We were contacted by one of the hobgoblin mages we left behind. They were displeased with our actions and mean to keep an eye on us.
This
I would
Vendrick,
imagine so. You've thrown quite a wrench into their plans.
indeed, this Vendrick we have mentioned to you has sworn to eliminate us should we continue to dwarf their plans.
Well,
There were dwarves involved in their plans? What? I don't remember any dwarves.
Yeah, this one right here, and I point to Strats.
He's part of their plans? I can't.
No.
He says, well, I hope that is not enough to... I hope threats from this Vandrick, you said,
Indeed.
is not enough to stop you.
Certainly not.
Of course not.
Of course not.
We just thought that, you being on the council and us being kind of working for you guys, we should let you know, because honesty
I
is
would
a
look at
virtue.
yourselves more as dependent contractors.
Yes. I believe no official association with Amman or the council we have made towards Vendrick. Yet additional caution might be given towards the Iron Authority at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should
Additional-
consider some sort of scry keeping away
Yeah.
magic at this
Yeah.
point.
Scrying on the Iron Authority is nigh impossible. The
No.
wards that they have...
No, I meant the other way around. If they aren't in our heads, they could be spying on us at this point.
Actually, not to contradict you, but I believe there's been a way discovered to break through those wards. Tara has been working on just that thing and has discovered that Ilsa is still alive.
Really?
In fact, I mean to go to Craghammer next to speak with Tara more directly and learn more information.
Well, that's the last time I doubt that, dwarf. She, if you'll recall, was in Amman long. The timing of her visit was not coincidental. She had been petitioning Lord Derolo for access to large quantities of residuum. Apparently for just this.
Well, it appears that whatever she was able to obtain, she was able to put to good use.
Report back to me once you find more.
Of course.
Anyway,
What
for now,
wonder I do
sorry.
wonder I do if this might be of help, and I pull out the arcane focus from what's the Archmage's face name again?
Kovrak.
Kofrak, yeah. Briero, please to Dill. Do you think your friend Terror could make use of a personal belonging of a now deceased mage?
I don't think it would hurt. It's a
So
good thing you kept that, Shango.
hold on to it, I shall, and once we meet her. You?
That's Alora's area of expertise. I stick to what I do best, Assume says.
Certainly.
Anyway, we should probably get going.
Of course.
Assume leads you all into the excuse me, leads you all into the People's Palace in the center of the Cloudtop district. As you come into the council chamber, you can see that seated in their 5 chairs are the familiar faces to you now of one of them being noticeably empty. Guardian Topher Bratoris. Seeker Asum leaves you all and goes and sits in his chair. The Arcanist Alora Vysoren sits there. Arbiter Brahm Goldhand's chair is noticeably and expectedly empty. It is also draped in a black cloth. As well as sitting on the far end, Hearthmaker Theodorn Kraz, the dwarf master of development, who you can see is sipping at his goblet of what you imagine, based on your previous encounters with him, is some sort of spirit or ale. As
I walk through the door, I go, "Are you on the Tal'Dorei Council?"
As you come in, Alora greets all of you with a nod of her head and says, so, Assume has filled us in on what you explained to him last evening. It would appear that you were successful in your mission to not only discover what was happening with our seabound trade routes, but also deal with the problem.
Yes, I slayed the dragon with the help of my compatriots.
Most impressive, Master Thorn. You continue to not
Die is the word you're looking for. He continues to.
All things die.
Indeed, they do. Apparently, large blue dragons being one of them.
A complete success. I don't know if it has been. The source was discovered. The dragon was slain. Yes, some of the involved parties still remain on foot. Unsure I am if they continue to raid or if they will go to lick the wound, so to speak.
Wow. Perhaps now that you've done most of the heavy lifting, she looks over at Assume, who says, yes, I think I might be able to spare a few agents to go and investigate and see, at least investigate, not interact, but investigate what is left of whatever operation they had going on there. She nods her head with like a finally kind of expression on her face.
Yes, the dragon is certainly gone, but the ship was well, I suppose, armed. Still.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Perhaps being able to recover that would be important, as well as whatever treasures of the dragon's hoard might be left over. I'm sure that some of you could provide some sort of sketches and maps and descriptions of the general area for Asum's agents.
Certainly.
I
Of
mean,
course.
Yeah.
That would be
We've
greatly
also
appreciated.
assisted you in making the decision you have to make later today 33% easier.
Yes, Assume explained that to us as well. Were you able at all to glean any information about if this person, Etzel Tayakopan, was someone who had quite a bit of history in this city? Did her imposter reveal any information about where she might be or if she is still alive?
We killed her fairly quickly.
And
The
it seems
imposter.
like, it seems like they've been working at this for quite some time. So while we didn't get any additional information on that front, I would somewhat doubt that Etzel Teakapan is still alive.
Extracting memories from a personal object, is that a possibility within your realm?
Yes, there are certain rituals that might be able to do such magics. You have something of this imposter's that I might be able to make use of?
Indeed. And I pull out his arcane focus staff.
She holds out her hand.
This is the wielding focus of the mage that impostered. The attendant for this.
This should go a long way. I will. I appreciate you having the clear-thoughted idea of retrieving this and bringing it back. I will make use of it as soon as I am able. And she takes it and kind of like sets it against the back of her chair for the moment.
Glad to be of service. I am looking over to Bureau. Do we need a return of this staff at a later time, Bureau?
Perhaps. For now, I think it's in the best hands possible.
I would agree. Topher pipes up and says, do you have any idea if there might be other imposters in positions of power?
I think all of you in positions of power are imposters in some way.
We have no such information. Like I said, it seems that the Iron Authority is making very large-scale plans, and whether there's other imposters, there's certainly other problems out there.
Yes, there may be other imposters, if only because we heard this was not the only sort of situation of its kind that they were attempting. But
Likely
nothing specific.
Likely I find it if one has infiltrated, others have too. Yet unlikely I find it to have many in high stations.
Very well. She kind of sits back in her chair with a bit of a concerned look on her face, contemplating what you've said, and from what you can tell, probably making plans for how to deal with this potentially. They say, so you've brought us, and so Stratz steps forward. goes through his whole spiel of his, he's a storyteller and he's got a captive audience. So he goes through his whole spiel of the ordeal that he went through, probably building himself up a little bit in certain spots.
When he
hoping
does that,
you'll let it go.
I put my stick up his nose.
He's, uh, come on, a little bit of artistic license. And he, but he exchanges the information to them, the same information that he exchanged to you and assume previously. They all sit enthralled, listening, taking in all the information that they can. And a couple of times, Hearthmaker Theodorn nods off a couple times, and then comes to with like
Need some of that
with a
coffee.
light snore, and then comes to. But eventually, Strats gets to the end of his spiel, and excuse me, and Allura finally says, "Well, thank you, Strats. Was it? We, the Council of Taldore, are extremely thankful for the information that you've brought to us, and are sorry for what it is that you had to endure to glean this information, though it is will be infinitely useful to us. Is there some way, any way, that we can reward you for your bravery in captivity in the service of information that you've provided to the council?" And Strats says, "I am but a humble bard and world traveler. I wish only to continue to ply my trade." As he pauses for a second, says, "However, traveling can be expensive." And she nods her head and says, and she waves her hand, and a fairly heavy sack of coin appears on the floor in front of him. As he says, "Oh, he bows extremely deeply. You are most gracious. I shall forever keep you in my prayers." Tharn, and those of you with other high insight, you don't think this man's a prayed day in his life.
Sounds about
Prayers
right.
to the Wild Mother, of course.
Oh, but of course.
Oh, passive insight, of course. Yes.
Of course.
Of course.
Probably
She
nothing
goes,
for it, though.
perhaps I've always found that the best way to travel the world is by making yourself of use. And you have made yourself of use to this council, and perhaps the defenders of the East might find a use for you. I leave your that in their charge. However, you have given us much to think about, and if there is no other issues that you would like to bring up with the council.
Just one other item, and as we leave them with the maps and stuff of the caves where the treasure is,
Mm-hmm.
I also leave them with the name of the captain and ship that we plundered and the inventory that we took.
Okay. Yes, Captain Seacaster. He is frequent of the city. I will make sure that the dockmaster gets this list, and he will be made whole, or as whole as we can make him, when he returns.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you could
And
have him
thanks to you.
not besmirch our name, because
Yeah.
that'd be helpful. I guess he's not too pleased with us.
No.
I
If
can
I might
understand
ask,
why.
if I might ask, you give him you tell him my personal apology in the meta being.
I will endeavor to do so. Anyway, we appreciate your service to the city. We understand that you have some personal business that you all need to attend to. We hope, though, that this will not be the last time that we see you. You have performed great services to this city.
I actually have a number of things I'd still like to discuss.
Asum pipes up and he says, "Actually, I was hoping to talk to you in private."
If that is your wish, then that can be done. Yes.
If
So
there's
we are
nothing,
here now. I don't see why we can't simply address it. Simply do ask if there was other business. There is
I
other
meant,
business. But as a personal favor to you, Seeker Assume, I can certainly speak with you in private.
what I meant with us in private, the council.
Oh, well, yes. That seems efficient as well. Yes.
All right. I guess I'll turn and I'll just give a slight bow and I'll start walking out.
Hmm.
Same.
I will do the same, and before I leave, I'll say, Master Topher, I've not forgotten the promise I've made.
I understand you haven't. Priorities are what they are. I have faith that you will do what you need to do and it will be done in the time that it needs to be done.
Have things gotten any better? Just as I'm leaving, I just want to know.
She says, the latest reports we've had, the instances of violence seem to have abated for a time. Though inability to find common ground still stands.
I will get there as soon as I can.
I know you will.
It's most likely our next stop after Craghammer.
Very good. With that,
With that, I'll walk out.
yeah, the rest of you step outside. Tharn, as you're standing there, the council has a Tharn, or not Tharn, Assume starts and says, Thon, I have, in the time that you have been with us, found you to be someone extremely capable of solving problems. And it is with that in mind that we talk to you now. Allura speaks up and says, indeed, I am unaware whether or not your traveling compatriots have explained to you about some of the things they have done here. Are you familiar with the... I'm sure you're familiar with the events of the Chroma Conclave and the scars that Thordak left on this land, someone who is attuned to the land as you are.
Yes, that was the situation involving the 4 dragons.
Yes, this one I speak of specifically was the ancient red dragon.
Nasty creatures, those.
Yes. One of the scars that he left on this land was the Flamereach Grove, as it had come to be called, previously known as the Shivagreen Grove. Are you familiar with it? It is not too far to the south of the city.
I have not explored the lands around here for quite some time. I believe that my compatriots had mentioned at some point something about the red dragon nesting here and having a negative effect on the land. I have felt it. I have felt that the land has been, in its own way, blasphemed by an unnatural power, but its roots are strong and it continues to grow.
Indeed, it does. your compatriots were able to deal with a problem. The Thordak had left a connection to the elemental plane of fire. One of the parts of the land in which he scarred was the former Shivergreen Grove, now known as the Flame Reach Grove, a beautiful glade of many trees that were ever burning. Your compatriots dealt with the connection and those that were maintaining the connection to the fire plane that allowed that part of the land to continue to burn. Though the Shivergreen Grove no longer burns, it is reluctant to green again. There was a specific moss that would grow on the trees there that was invaluable in certain healing salts. I'm sure that you're aware of. We were
I'm
hoping.
aware of many types of moss, and I start listing them.
Yes. Yes, I appreciate your vast knowledge of mosses. However, the task that we were hoping you might be able to assist us with, what experts we've been able to send there to try and usher back the regrowth of this grove has been fruitless. And as someone who is a servant of the Wild Mother and attuned to the land as you are, that perhaps you could lend your expertise in perhaps healing this scarred part of the.
Experts, you say?
Druids that were on loan to us from the Pyra. I'm not sure if you're aware of them. They come from across the sea on the continent of Isilra.
Ah, druids. Fine people at first. Misplaced understanding of where their natural power comes from, thinking it simply springs from the ground like a seed. Infused with the will of the Wild Mother, they are. Not willing to pray to her and follow her ways. Yes, yes, I believe that these so-called experts likely overlook something. I could easily go and address the problem for you if that is what you wish. I would be more than happy to, in service to the Wild Mother and the nature that has been scarred by the horrible creature that came here because you built a giant city for no reason.
I appreciate your understanding, Thon.
I'm quite full of understanding. I have to be when it comes to dealing with your society.
It is the burden you bear.
We are all tested. We are all tested by the deities. The Wild Mother is no different, except better.
Ren just kind of like cringes a little bit inside.
You're not there.
Oh shit! Right.
We all left,
Shit.
right? Yeah.
It's just one of those like back of your neck. The hairs just stand on it.
Like you know it's going wrong. You don't know how.
It's going
You know
wrong.
that.
Someone's talking shit about my sister.
Somebody's talking shit?
Palming all at once.
Somebody's talking shit about Melora?
Someone's talking shit about my sister.
Who's talking shit?
She goes, I understand that your compatriots are going to Craghammer and might require your assistance for a short time longer. But if there is, if you have the ability, we would appreciate your assistance in this.
Of course, I can go and take a look at it right away. There are some items I would possibly need. I assume that Assume could assist me with tracking down anything that I might specifically need to get that could assist with this. Yes?
Assume says, I will be happy to make my contacts and resources available to you, yes.
Good, good. Well, no time like the present.
Thank you very much. And they nod to you as if to say we appreciate your help, and should you ever need to request a favor of us in return in the future, we will be here to listen.
Good, good. I have a number of requests I need to make. First off,
Perhaps at another time.
Well, this matter does sound pressing, so I shall get on that. But
Yes, exactly. No time like the present, as you said.
do you claim jurisdiction of these woods, or are you simply trying to ensure that this scar on nature is fixed? And because of your proximity, you feel that this is your responsibility.
The grove lies outside the jurisdiction of the city, though it does reside inside the Republic, and any scar on the land that can be fixed should be. There's no reason for such a beautiful piece of nature to stay destroyed and burnt if there's something we can do about it.
Very true, very true. All right, then I shall be off to address this right away. You say it's to the south of here? How far?
Few days walk.
Few days walk, then I should get to walking. Farewell.
Farewell. Thank you, Thon. I
have sending. I will message you regularly at various times, so you know how to go.
I look forward to it.
I'm growing trees now.
With a cringe. But you guys are standing outside just outside the doors as they open, and Tharn makes his way out.
What was that about, Thorn?
Thorn obviously told them to fuck off, like I said. That's why he's here. So
Yes.
'Cause they're
Well,
pieces
I
of
mean,
shit.
I've told them that on multiple occasions. I'm sure they're getting the idea. Actually, you know what? The door's closed. They asked a favor of me, one that I feel would be good to engage in. So shall we all? Apparently you've dealt with something called the Cinder Grove.
Yes, the
very
Burning
true.
Forest.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Flame Reach Grove.
the Flame Reach Grove. It seems you did good stopping the flame, but unfortunately the reach of the grove is still stunted, and they would like me to do something about that.
Huh.
The rift was closed, was it not?
It would appear that it was, but unfortunately it has so permanently and drastically scarred the nature around there. They are looking for someone who may be able to fix it. They sent a group of experts.
I can just see the.
See the air quotes in your mind.
Yes. To attempt to, in some way, fix or change the problem. They failed, predictably, as they were druids and not truly followers of the Wild Mother. So I now go take a look and see if I could fix it. You're all familiar with this place, yes?
To an extent, yes.
Care to join me on this expedition? I'm told it is a few days to get there, and unless you have a faster means to travel to that location. And then I imagine it will take me a few days to diagnose and address whatever the problem is, fix it in the name of her holy wonderfulness, and then come back.
You also know, Tharn, because you would have been keeping track of it. You're probably 3 weeks out from Wild Grandeur.
Yeah, but that's... Yeah. Okay.
Just a reminder, that's all.
All right, cool.
Faster way of travel. A faster way of travel for all of us, I believe we do not have at this point.
Aside from mounts and the carpet.
The mounts and the carpet are the only thing. Is this out of character? Is this Tharn's goodbye quest? Is that what's going on?
Well, I know Mark is with us for tonight and tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week.
Hey,
more
my
D&D
shows
this
are getting
week.
pretty hard canceled, so there might be another free week after that. Although I might just be calling in from the backseat of my car as I sleep in a truck stop parking lot.
Well, I think next week was your last session because I believe we have another player coming in,
Yes.
Mark. So, But essentially, yes.
If this is to be our parting of the ways, it sounds like you mean to stay in this grove for at least a while. Then I suppose a few more days learning from you would not be so bad.
Yeah, Ren just kind of gives a nod at that, especially to see the grove back to the way I saw it when Melora allowed me vision of it.
Yes. Well, I know that you all enjoy taking the time to prepare yourselves and stock up before leaving on a journey. It is, and I look up at the sun, and I look back. Ow! It is. I forget that I have glasses that double the length of my vision, like it's right in my eyeball.
Classic Tharn.
It's what, sometime in the afternoon by now?
Yeah, it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah. So, yes, I believe we can check out first thing in the morning. And told us it's a 3-day walk from here. That seems way that we shall be traveling.
Yero, I take it your matter in Crackhammer a few days it can still wait, or just immediately it needs to be?
I think a few more days we can just teleport straight from the grove.
Excuse me.
Well, we don't have a cot at the keep, do we?
No.
I mean, we can buy one.
No, I know. I'm just thinking, would Ren be willing to possibly
Drive it.
give up her her mountship of her horse, and I could use my horse. We could pull a cart, so some of us could work on separate projects while riding. And now that Ren, you are now the driving us part of this party. Would you be fine with that?
Certainly.
I'll go look into purchasing a cart then.
I'll go with you.
Excuse me, I have to use the little boy's room real quick.
The little boy's room.
No! First off, D&D Beyond. Second off,
D&D Beyond!
Mark, we're going to miss you, and we're going to miss Tharn very much.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
thanks, you guys.
Can you list all the things and ways and how are we going to miss him?
Many ways in which you are going to miss me.
Number 1, keeping you alive. 2, you not being dead. Those are separate things. 3,
explaining
4.
all the all this information that you should have known before, but
I am definitely gonna miss about Tharn is him annoying the hell out of everybody.
What I'm gonna miss? I'm gonna miss the lists.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna so miss the lists. Then, like at first, I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" But then, like I'm like, "Okay, this is just gold. I love this."
Alrighty, so
I'm going to mount my horse with this beautiful new saddle I have. And I'm going to, because I don't know if Nox knows how to ride a horse, I'm going to make sure that he sits in front so he doesn't fall off.
I think I would know how to ride a horse.
are
do
you
you?
with land vehicles?
Oh, land vehicles? A horse is a land vehicle.
Yeah.
It might be difficult to have Nox on front because of his tail, though.
It's not a water vehicle.
Yeah, it's not a water vehicle. It's really not a water vehicle.
I mean, I've ridden a horse before in this game.
Yeah,
That's true.
but you he's ridden a horse before. Like in this world, being proficient with land vehicles is like
Carts and things.
anybody can drive a car. right? But being proficient in something is like you can Tokyo
Professional
drift
driver.
and shit. Yeah,
Yeah, professional driver.
like you're a professional driver.
All right. Well, anyway, I just wanted
can-
to be the big spoon, but all right, whatever. We're gonna go and find a cart salesman and buy
All right.
a small carriage or small cart.
A cart
Without too much
salesman.
problem, you find a livery
used
that can
cart
provide
salesman.
you with either a carriage, a cart, or a chariot. Carriages are 100 gold pieces, carts are 15 gold pieces, and chariots are 250 gold pieces.
Wait a minute. We do have a cart. We have a carriage of some sort.
Back
It's in
It's
Whitestone.
in
Whitestone.
Whitestone. I was
Okay,
just
I
about
thought
to say that, yeah.
I thought we took it here. Never mind.
No,
No, we
I
couldn't
didn't.
get that
No.
through the
I totally-
teleportation.
Yeah,
Also,
it's sitting back home.
also, it had 8 horses carrying it.
Yeah, no,
And we only
Yeah,
have
it was a
access to 2.
badass cart.
it was badass.
was like
And
carriage.
It was like the
and the
Phantom
self-replenishing
carts.
minibar.
Yeah, I
yeah.
totally just remembered it, and I was like, I need to put it out there so we don't find
Yeah,
it.
no.
No, that's
one.
back in Whitestone.
Back in Whitestone.
Okay, no worries.
Servants
So,
getting drunk off the never-ending minibar.
which is the covered one that we could sleep in?
Carriage.
Carriage?
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000 gold pieces.
100 gold pieces.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Nothing. It's nothing fancy, but it's a covered carriage.
Yeah. Also, you don't need to walk, and you could also read your book. That's why I'm doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Do we need any more horses, or you're
no,
just...
I believe it's just the 2, correct?
The
Just-
your two magical horses could pull it. They probably couldn't like gallop with it. Like if you wanted to have it like, like they can pull it. Like it's not going to be like
It's not gonna be a
staged. Like
fast-paced.
yeah, unless you wanted to buy a couple, at least 2 more horses. It's not going to be like a stagecoach running away at top speeds kind of thing.
I mean, as long as we can get there in the time that
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
walking distance is 2.5 3 days. So with the
Oh, then yeah, we
carriage,
it'd be
with a
perfect.
carriage, it's going to be about the same, maybe a little less.
All right, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's perfect. I find one that's a little more gaudy than the other ones, and I just go, yeah.
Certainly, sir.
Mauve.
That'll be 100 gold pieces. Is there a particular place you'd like it delivered to?
Grayskull Embassy. In the morning. First thing.
Absolutely. Be there sun up.
Thank you for your time.
Not a problem at all, sir. Have a wonderful day.
I want to talk to this NPC more, but we're running low on time.
Did he seem a little shifty to you? Just a
No.
little bit.
Seems like
All
a
right,
very,
guys,
very-
install the explosive.
and two NPC.
Hey,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, what's up?
I appreciate you, man. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, but I appreciate you.
People tell me that all the time.
Holy shit! Where the fuck did you come from?
What? I've been here this whole time. What are you
Gosh damn it!
We've been
Heart
dragging
attack.
Thorn like a
Like a sled.
he's skipping.
Shell's just a sled.
He has his own skateboard and he's skipping behind. He's holding the horse. We're like, I'm not letting you go.
Has his hoverboard. It's just the
I'm curious
carpet.
what people are actually saying that Tharn interprets as "we appreciate you."
Thank you, Noxus. That's very nice to hear from you. I'm gonna just weep a little bit, knowing that he's in front of me and he can't see.
Okay. Is there, before everything closes down for the night, is there any preparations you all would like to make before you are leaving in the morning?
Oh yes.
I am working on that right now.
Alrighty.
Well, ask if Lena can give us some like bento boxes.
She is already on it, making you travel meals.
That was a gift, Lena.
I will read.
Oh, you're so nice there, Miss Renata.
I will read till like 8-9 o'clock, and then I will just zonk out and go to sleep.
So it's like by the time you get back to the keep, after going to get the carriage, you'll probably get another 2 hours in on your book.
Actually, for a long rest, I would just need 6 hours, right?
No, you need 8 hours.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
something
yeah.
before we go back. Ren might excuse herself and go find a luthier and pick up some extra strings and like catgut for her salakine just in case it breaks.
Sure. We'll say 5 copper pieces.
If Fike has enough materials for his masks, because I'm still working on that project, and then I just want to pick up like a very thin book, like probably like 20 or 30 pages, and then enough ink and quill to fill that out.
An ounce of ink is 10 gold pieces. An ink pen is 2 copper pieces. And a thin book, a thick spell book is 50 gold pieces. So we'll say for the kind of book you're looking for, we'll say it's half that. So 25 gold pieces.
That is fair.
Okay. I'm going to need to pick up 2 things.
Okay.
First, I'm going to need powdered ruby, 1,000 gold worth of powdered ruby.
Okay. So you head over to Gilmore's, and they are able to provide you for like you're able to get it, so you can spend the coin. For flavor's sake, you get half of it at Gilmore's, and then they're able to send you to a jeweler where you can get the.
Yeah, I don't spend anything on it. I tell them to bill it to assume.
Oh, okay. They do so.
Yeah. And
he's gonna regret this.
I'm going to pick up 1,000 gold of herbs, oils, and incense.
Okay.
Also bill to assume. The incense I can probably get at Gilmore's. The herbs I'll grow myself, and the oils I'm just gonna walk into the Temple of Wild Mother and take them.
Okay.
It occurs to me that I actually need some diamond dust. Does Gilmore's have any left?
Gilmore's has.
I bought them out.
Yeah.
Oh no!
That's right. He did. He did buy them out.
Okay. It's fine.
You'll be able. You can go to a jeweler though. Also, how much diamond dust?
Just like 200 gold's worth is probably fine.
I'll say that, you spend the rest of the night walking around town with your contacts and everything. You're able to find it from various jewelers and whatnot.
Just give me some diamonds. I got vestiges. I can just like Julie.
That's it for you.
Renata's just standing out back with diamonds.
You also,
with one of her swords.
if you'll recall, you guys got from Gator 6 bags full of diamonds, rubies, and emeralds.
Oh, that's true.
You just have crushed up.
Yeah.
You already.
I
used
have
300.
less.
You already used 300 gold of which of that. I don't know if you guys are intending it this way, and maybe it's just my OCD. But the bag of holding, as far as keeping track of it, you keep a lot of stuff in there that's on other people's character sheet that I don't know if you really need to keep it in there if someone has it on their character sheet. But
That's Nox's fault. He's the king of the bag of holding because he wears.
like having the prestidigitation spray in there with Cortanus next to it. I'm just saying.
That's fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
There's
like
a lot of
that.
things in there that are like labeled. This person has it, and if it's on their character sheet, which it should be, if they have it, then
Actually, yes.
you don't really need to have it.
I think we might need to do a purge soon.
Yeah, just to keep. It's easier for me to keep track of how much stuff you actually have in the bag of holding, so I can tell when it's getting
Yeah.
full or not.
So let's do this. Let's tomorrow I'll message you guys since I get up super early, and I'll just say if you guys have a chance to look through the bag of holding, tell me what you guys don't really care about or want, and I'll talk with Bill and say, hey, this is what we sell it for, and we'll just
No,
try and figure that
no,
out
no,
so it doesn't
No, no,
bog
what?
that's
down.
well.
No, no,
That's
no. What
not
Bill?
what-
Yeah, that's not what Bill is saying.
That's not what I'm saying. Yeah.
I understand what he's saying, but I'm talking about a purge of stuff we don't need as well.
Ah,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to you guys. But
Okay.
anyway, because I saw in there the other day that you had the 6 bags of diamonds, rubies, and emeralds at 1,200 gold pieces each. So, but and by like Fike using 300 gold of his and stuff, that is technically not accurate, but whatever.
Mhm.
So that's you guys can do that. You all have editing power.
Mhm.
But anyway, yes, Bureau, you're able to find that stuff, or if you'd like, you can use the diamonds because each bag is like equally split into thirds of diamonds, rubies, and emeralds. So you could just have those crushed up into powder if you want.
I already marked off the gold, so
All right. Anything else?
Oh, I'll
I
go
would
pick
like-
up. Go ahead, Nox.
Shango. No, I want this to be last.
All right. I'll pick up whatever materials I need for enchanting another +1 armor.
Okay. Didn't you already?
Yeah,
do
I
that?
picked up materials. Yeah, I picked up materials to do it once. I want to pick up a second set so I can, in
Ah.
case I fail or I want to do a second one afterwards, I have a spare. I
see.
think it was it 500 gold?
Yeah,
I don't
it was
remember.
500 gold.
Okay. Yep. That's it.
Anything? Tharn, you got all your stuff. Barrow's
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much loaded for bear on this.
All right, Barrow's got all his stuff. Fike got all his stuff. Ren, you got your extra strings. Anything else you want before you guys hit the road again?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Shango's good. Noxus.
Right before I go to bed, I would like to pull out my crystal ball and I would like to scry on Gator.
Okay. Alrighty, you pull out your crystal ball and you sit down. Are you doing this in private in your room?
Yes.
All right. You sit down in private in your room. You pull out your crystal ball and you scry on Gator. What's your DC again?
My spell DC, I believe, is 16. Let me check. That is correct. 16.
Oh, actually, yeah. You cast the spell. And your consciousness leaves you as you go into the crystal ball and start flying through the air, not being able to see like anything as it's going past you so quickly, and it crashes into some sort of protective barrier, and you're shunted back into your consciousness. The scry being blocked by something. You don't think, because you've experienced it before, you don't think it was Gator resisting it.
Okay. I think Noxus has a feeling where Gator is.
Unless there's anything else, you all go to sleep for the evening.
Yeah, sorry, I had a thing what I want to do before sleep. I thought it was just shopping.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, relatively straightforward. Just once we get back to the keep, cast Find Familiar to bring Zephyr back.
Yep, without issue, you go through the ritual and
Yeah.
are able to, and Zephyr in a puff of air and smoke appears
Comes
in your
back, and then I'll play with her for like a good half hour.
lap.
And then I want to start the enchantment process of the +1 armor.
For your breastplate?
I'm gonna ask Nox if he wants it on his breastplate. On his, oh no, is this a breastplate? No, what are you
No,
wearing?
it's
The
half
adamantium?
plate. Half plate.
Half plate.
now.
If Nox
Yeah.
wants it on his half, all right, then I'll set it
Yeah.
on Nox's half plate.
All right, which means that you'll have to not be wearing it
Oh.
while he's enchanting it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would take it off in the evening. I would enchant it and then give it back to him, right? After like the time I. Or can he not use? Oh, he can't use it while during the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mm.
gotcha.
I mean, I'm gonna be in the cart with you, so.
Well, it's
yeah,
gonna
but
take
this,
a while.
yeah, this is gonna
How
take like
long?
2 weeks, 2-3 weeks,
Oh,
probably
2
at least.
It's gonna take more than that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh.
because
Because remember, you're not dedicating like
yeah,
days
if
to
I'm-
this.
if
You're
I'm-
doing it in like
right.
what little free time you have at night before,
Oh.
which drastically increases the amount of time it takes to do.
Mhm.
yeah,
Then I would
yeah,
say.
it's actually gonna be months, right? Because
Like
I
if,
think of
yeah,
what.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
if you
'cause when I-
just-
wait.
like if you guys had like a couple weeks of downtime and this is what you were doing for
Yeah.
a few weeks, then it would take a few weeks. But because you're
Yeah,
kind
so
of
it's
like
gonna be a couple
piecemealing
months.
it throughout the journey and stuff, like whenever you have a free moment, it's gonna take like months.
Then yeah, I'd say I'd wait
Okay.
till we have downtime.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna start doing it then on. I actually have a spare press plate, I believe.
If you
Yes.
want, I don't know who can wear it, but there's a mithril half plate armor in the bag of holding that if anybody wants to use and can use, you can do it on that and give it to somebody. It's up to them if they want to use it. I'm just throwing it out there for you.
Any takers? 3.
Let's not
2,
be too helpful
1.
for me.
Yeah. Okay. I actually have a spare press plate, so I'll switch out my fancy looking press plate to the regular press plate I have
Mhm.
and start it on the fancy looking one.
Okay, you do so.
I hope the day you finish it, you guys just find like a +1 fancy breastplate,
Probably.
or like a +2 breastplate of the Stormlord. You're just like,
Yeah.
No.
It's going to be like 2 days before. It's like you're about done, and like, look, there's a +2. Oh, God damn it!
Blaspheme against cord as you find a +2 cord breastplate.
Yeah. You hear that, dice? You hear that? Treasure board rolling dice. Come on now, let's do this.
Let's make it happen, baby.
All right. So you
Answer
guys
my
go,
players, clickety clack, go fuck yourself.
So you guys go to sleep for the evening. Noxus,
No. Come on.
you receive a message in the middle of the night that wakes you up. Trying to look in on your former captain. He is with us now. He will be punished for his failures. I hope you sleep well knowing that the torments he goes through are because of you.
You may respond to this message.
I don't respond, and I cry myself to sleep.
All right.
So the Iron Authority is German.
No,
Benjamin.
Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
I have been waiting for you, Master Vex.
Wait, the
It's
Iron
Rex.
Authority is the Hitler stand-in? What?
I know. It's almost like the name is kind of so you all wake in the morning. Healed. Those of you who didn't have a long rest before, Nox now do. The carriage that you ordered is outside the keep, waiting for you. When you all come to consciousness, Lena has prepared a delicious breakfast and also prepared 3 days of meals, specifically meals that are labeled like day 1, day 2, day 3, like ones that should be eaten earlier, and then stuff that keeps a little bit better for the second one, and then stuff that keeps a little bit better for the third day. And they're
That
all
is
like-
amazing.
I love
open up
her
the
so
third one.
much.
I open
Thanks,
number
Mom.
3.
You know, like
We all
those
need Lena in
foods
our
that,
lives.
like, that's like
Yeah.
good the next day, and then there's like like leftover Chinese food which is still good like 3 days later and stuff. Yeah.
Are they also
Uh-huh.
labeled for each person individually?
Yes, of course they are. Are you kidding?
Aw.
Sweet.
Please tell me she made me like draconian stuff.
This is
please.
the mom I never had.
Obviously.
Fuck.
Oh, I love this person.
My day 1, my day 2, and my day 3 are just heads of this.
Yes.
It's like,
I just want Noxus to open his and be like, it's just mayonnaise.
It's just mayonnaise.
They're actually salads, Tharn, with different fruit. Like there's one salad that has like orange chunks in it, and another salad that has like walnuts and apples in it. And yeah, they're.
Oh, Lena.
This is amazing.
Yeah, we're just gonna. Fike's just gonna be out there just hooking up Valor to the cart.
And go help him with that. With
Yep.
Aura.
Alrighty. As the sun comes up over the horizon, you all clamber into the cart and start making your way south.
What animals are pulling the car?
A pair
Valor
of
and Aura.
magically summoned horses that
Good.
are not actually beasts. They are both. Well, it's up to you guys whether they are celestial, fiend, or fae.
Celestial.
I would imagine for both of you they're celestial. But
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say fiend, just because I think it'd be funny to just see
Oh,
like 2
God.
nightmare horses just running.
Thestrals. They're Thestrals.
hey, well, if they're nightmares, man, people are gonna be like, "Oh, we shouldn't mess with them."
Where are you going? The Flame Reach Grove.
It's like, the fuck?
as you guys make your way south down the Emerald Path towards what was once known as the Flame Reach Grove, where you have your old friend, presumably who is still there, by the name of, as I frantically, Lorkthar.
Lokthar.
As you make your way south, and that is where we will end the session this evening.
Guys,
Nice.
I realized something.
Hmm?
The ruins of
realize?
Onua are like right near there.
Mm.
Not really.
Like,
The
they are
Emerald
way further
Outpost?
away, aren't they?
No, the Emerald Outpost is like weeks south.
Oh, I thought that's where we were going.
No, you're going
No.
to the Flame Reach Outpost, which is just outside the former Flame Reach Grove, which was formerly the Shivergreen Grove, which they're trying to make the Shivergreen Grove again, as that Shivergreen moss that
Yeah.
they were talking to Tharn about is used in many different potions for its healing property.
Mhm.
But you guys
Very-
are only going, you guys are only,
We got like here, right?
maybe a little.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
okay. Oh, okay.
A very, very smart halfling once said, "The closer you are to danger, the farther you are from harm." So we're all good.
Oh yeah, the Emerald Outpost is weeks.
All the way, yeah.
My
So,
bad.
yeah.
My misunderstanding.
No worries.
It's like, ooh.
Alrighty.
Hmm.
Um,
Political intrigue.
political intrigue. Oh,
Dun-dun-dun.
before I
Bum, bum,
forget, you get word from Assume as you're leaving in the morning
Oh.
that in a vote of 3-1, Kellen Cobblehob was named to the lawmaster
Hmm.
of the city, and Assume took your council under advisement and has been in talks with Silgri Salt Earth into working more closely with him, specifically on what to do about the clasp.
Nice.
She's
Thorn
that
continues to
girl.
not give a shit.
Yes, I'm aware. Thorn continues to-
She shows up in a bat mask. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. What does her cowl look like now? That's what I want to know. I just see this bat cowl,
Is she-
tusks.
Wait, is she owl bear woman?
Owl
She's the
bear
owl
woman.
bear.
She's the owl bear woman.
The word that the vote went Topher, Asum, and Allura for Kellen, and Hearthmaster Theodore and Kraz went for Silgary.
But he put up no argument because he was shit faced.
Yeah, he just
I choose
cast
that
it.
one.
He didn't actually make an argument.
She's prettier.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
He's
man.
a really good architect, guys. He's really good architect.
You keep saying that, and then every tower always looks like the Leaning Tower
La
of Pisa.
Pisa.
Slightly,
I feel like that's
structurally
That's the Leaning
sound.
Tower of
Leaning
Dallas,
Pisa has been
really.
standing- Leaning Tower of Pisa has been standing for centuries.
It's Leaning Tower of
understand that.
Dallas, more likely.
Yeah, but if you look at it, this is plum. This is not plum. This is where they're all at. Why are they always to the left? That's my.
I don't know. It's weird, man. You would think they'd be straight, but they're like either a little bit to the left.
I
I've seen one
suppose
that's a little
it
bit
might
to
be.
the right.
Yeah, it might. I guess it's to the architecture's specifications. Oh no, it just
Seems like a personal
pour
problem.
the concrete.
Something like that.
If I tell the town crier a member of the class will get shot or a cartload of soldiers are going to die, nobody panics. But when I say one little old member of the Taldori Council will die, everybody loses their mind.
Huh.
Where have I heard this before?
We
Who wants their
all
experience
have a plan.
points.
Mhm.
I would love experience. Thank you.
We experience.
Everybody got 20 experience points except for Tharn, who got 21.
Whoop, whoop.
21.
Oh.
21.
What happens when you're the funniest?
Well, it's kind of hard to compete with a live
Professional.
comedian. Yeah, professional comedian.
He should be graded on the curve. He's like,
He should. No, he shouldn't.
he's
That is
he's like
grading
no,
me
yeah,
on the
he's
curve.
the professional class.
Yeah.
We're still like journeyman maybe.
All right. So I have two questions. One, for my dad joke of the day, that I actually get -3 experience points. I did take
That
them off.
wasn't serious. You didn't
Okay.
actually take those off. I'm just being a dick.
So
also,
unlike you, Will.
also, time to vote, y'all.
Oh,
Ding, ding, ding. We have
oh, oh.
You already leveled?
Leveled. He
Damn.
doesn't miss sessions like us, and he
Yeah.
kicks ass.
I got 20.
I don't think
I got
he's
26
missed a session.
left.
Fight, have you missed a session?
One.
I
You missed one like towards the very beginning.
Session 2 when you guys fought Von Trapp.
Oh, Von Trapp. Yeah.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
only session he's missed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like Taliesin.
I thought I was
Only
like
missed one
Taliesin.
session.
Well,
Well, attendance-wise.
Talents is attendance
gotcha.
record. Talison's
Well, hang on. His attendance record was down because he died in the game.
Mm.
We didn't miss the session.
He was
though.
still there. He's in the background.
he was just sitting watching them play.
You guys are watching.
Yeah, waiting for them to find Caduceus.
So you're
I think
so
I've
you're
only missed,
Talison's
like,
attendance
2.
record. I'm Talison's like
I'm a little
packed
bereft that
with an
they've
Eldritch God.
canceled live shows until further notice, so there's no live Critical Role tomorrow. But
Yeah.
well, I got time to catch up.
Makes sense.
I expressed it in the our private chat
Mhm.
and
But
was
taking
told
it
by
as well.
everybody you're wrong. And I'm like,
Well,
yeah,
that's
but
not what
I'm
we're
selfish
saying.
and I
This is
won.
fine.
All right. So let's vote. Let's vote so
Right.
we can get Shango and me to bed.
Okay. Hmm.
TMI.
Hey, listen.
That is not the ship I expected, but okay.
I mean,
Surprise!
so what are your levels right now?
5
that's
rogue.
not what it
I know.
matters.
I want to know.
I'm going. I'm
I think
going
it's 5
rogue.
and 7. 5
I'm going
and
rogue.
7 paladin.
Okay.
Rogue.
Yeah, I would
Why?
probably say rogue.
Yeah, you haven't been really doing much paladin-y stuff. So I'd say
I've been a
rogue.
pirate for fucking
Yeah,
Rogue,
every
so
week.
rogue.
Good point. Good point, rogue.
It's true, but that speech to Shango was pretty paladin-y.
That's true. It doesn't take out all the piracy though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And him being so sad about the rum being gone.
Rogue it is.
Rogue it is then.
So 6 levels of rogue.
Yes.
The Rouge.
I believe that gets you.
What does that get you?
I believe that's an ability score improvement.
Oh yeah, right.
For rogues, isn't it?
I think
Sixth
it
level?
is.
Nope. Expertise.
Oh, expertise, right.
Oh boy.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yay.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, you also have to roll hit points.
You keep your hands off persuasion.
Rogue's a D8, right?
D8.
Yep.
Plus your con.
Listen, Daddy Fike was the first persuasive person.
Nice.
Hey, that's a good roll.
Better than average.
That's
Yeah,
what we
my
aim for
last
here.
one.
Better than average.
Yep.
My last one.
Like I said, journeyman.
For you, I was the stealthy one. I was the handsome one. I was the religious, powerful one.
Well, you're still
And then you
that.
came in.
Well, you're still
No,
that.
no, no.
You are still that.
Well, no, I'm that now.
Yeah. Thorne's that.
Well, it's okay. You're leaving.
Well, it's okay. You're leaving. No, it's great that I'm leaving. I guess. All right. Fuck
Bam.
Oh God.
Renata, holy shit, you made a burn.
Deal
There's
with
a lot
it.
of salt,
Deal
man.
with it.
Are you just drinking Bailey's out of the bottle?
She's been
Fuck, yes, I'm in fucking like I'm stuck at home for weeks. I
Yeah,
got
my
nothing better to
buddy
do.
Shoot.
I'd like
My
to
wife
cast
doesn't
dampen
drink this, I'm
elements
fine.
In response to that burn.
Yeah.
Have you ever had Bailey's out of a shoe, though?
Yes.
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 Fucking deal with it.
So
I'm just gonna wear these now.
expertise is that
You
the
pick
one?
2 skills that you are proficient in, and you get double your proficiency. There's a way to do that actually in Roll20. Yeah, I don't know if you're
Yeah,
aware.
I think it's in the.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it in the
It's in the
the
little
very
key
right?
there.
I will
Yeah.
turn off the stream now. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
If you
no
go
dad.
Okay, bye.
No,
I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder. I'm proud to be in whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder.